and to remain in the playoff hunt, and one team has to win to try and still go for that first position in the conference.
Definitely.
So I had a good talk with the head coach of the Sussex Thunder and indeed the Hertfordshire Cheetahs.
Sussex is receiving the ball to start the game. I think Hertfordshire is third to the second half. Do you believe now we will be removing our hats and standing proud for the national anthem? Let's get ready for a great game of football between these two sides. The second of the rematch between Sussex and Hartfordshire.
Now, interestingly, James, both these teams run very similar schemes on both offense and defense. So both have got explosive offenses, but both have defenses that are used to seeing this spread, four receiver, single back shotgun offense. So this could, rather than be a shootout, could turn into a defensive battle. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think what we're looking at here is two teams who aren't afraid to take shots deep. So I think the secondary and the safeties are going to be busy on both sides of the ball. And yeah, I agree. I think it could end up as quite a close affair.
I mean, so Sussex Thunder are going to return the ball. They run a version of air raid, and with air raid, you take what you're given. And we're going to see a 40 front for the Cheetahs, a 4-2 box, you reckon? With
yeah, I think
4-2-5 to start with, man underneath, or we're looking for zone?
A mixture of both, I think. I think what Sussex will look to do, they'll look to take advantage of the safeties sitting back in zone coverage and maybe attack the sidelines on the out routes.
Okay. Well, Thunder do have a dual threat quarterback. He's been told by his head coach to work on his second and third reads. Good kick into the end zone.
That will be a touchback.
So number 83, Tom Kelly makes a decision for the touchback. Thunder start 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Jonathan, what are your thoughts just after that opening kickoff?
Well, I think what we really need to see from both teams, and both teams will certainly be trying to do this, is to get a great fast start. Anytime you're in a close game, it's always better to hold the lead. It's always better to have the game. Hey, if the clock runs out, we win. And so I think both teams will be hyped. I think they'll both be either well scripted or well prepared for this opening series. Now, what's really interesting is it doesn't look like Sean Lewis is in a QB for Sussex.
You have a different QB. Trips left, single back, give on the zone right, bouncing out. Number 2's there to hit him. Number 2, Oliver Kent, close it down in a hurry.
Yeah, but it's a good solid play. It looked sort of mid-zone, outside zone, and he makes a quick bounce outside, but an immediate vertical move, and he gets kind of a 2-yard gain. Okay, they're prodding and probing, but all on plan so far.
So James, who are we going to have to keep our eyes open for in this Cheetahs defense?
Right, so definitely you want to keep your eye on number 1, Jordan Legg.
Position?
Outside linebacker over there in front of the trips formation. He's a key player for the defence. He'll be all over the pitch today. And
throws the screen underneath, but the QB wasn't sure.
And of course our defensive line, a huge unit for us Cheetahs, led by number 63, Joel. He's played for many years and he's a real force up there in the nose tackle position.
So already we're on 3rd and 8, Jonathan. It's been an air raid offense. That's not too much of a worry. You still have most of your playbook available to you.
No, but I think the real story coming out of these first few snaps is what's happening at quarterback. Are we going to see Sean later today, or is something going to change?
So number 16, Ebba Kington, at quarterback. Now certainly the head coach of the Sussex Thunder didn't mention a change at quarterback. So number 1's on the sideline. He's warmed up. He's got his helmet off. The question is, why isn't he in?
And really interesting there, they had a one-on-one matchup out to the outside. The receiver ran a curl, but to the outside, it looked like if he'd run a curl to the inside, that's certainly where the QB located the ball. He could have been moving the chains, but instead they're here to put it away.
Number 40. Away. Nice directional kick towards the sideline.
It looked like a very intentional decision to not kick the ball to the returner there.
Number 44.
Now running onto the field is the Hertfordshire Cheetahs offense.
So number 44, Axel Rodwell, had a kick return for a touchdown last week. So I wonder if that has come into the coach's
Axel
mind.
Was am I correct in thinking that he was University of Hertfordshire?
University
yeah,
of Hertfordshire,
I think we played him in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago. Really excited to see Adam Adenji at running back, ex-NTU. Very explosive player, very slippery for his size.
So Cheetahs come out and spread, single back shotgun on the right hash on their own 40-yard line, good field position. 30 front showing from the Thunder. Now the right guard pull.
And in a very similar, first and 10 play, there's a little bit more success and they pick up 5 yards. We're looking at 2nd and 5.
A classic football style. 4 yards and a pile of dust at the end of that play. That once again we'll mention the pitch is very hard, especially between the hash marks. There's not as much grass as you'd like. So what that's going to do in the long run is make this game particularly painful for the linemen, the guys in the trenches. So James, on offense here, who are we looking for?
So as you already mentioned, 30, Adam Adeniji. He's back after a couple of games out, looking to prove a point.
Number 74, Dan Wiggins, jumps.
I think the offensive line, should they settle down, they're a key unit for us at Cheetahs. Very well coached and drilled and huge depth.
Which, if we put the ball in the other side of the court, certainly over in Thunder, the one thing the head coach talked about was his injuries on the offensive line, and they've already had to move their starting tight end, who is a Russian national player, to starting right tackle.
That's right.
So, it could come down to who's got the fittest offensive line. They're very similarly matched teams.
And I think the Hertfordshire Cheetahs are very fortunate to have such great depth at that position.
Number 12 can't quite hang on to it. Nick Ford.
Nick Ford is another player I'd like to mention. A rookie this year to the Cheetahs. He's come in and he's performed excellently, leading the team in catches and yards.
QB number 13 looked a little nervous there. He had a lot more time than I think he gave himself credit for. He had time to set his feet, he had time to set up and deliver the strike, and instead he threw it off his back foot a little bit and just left his receiver short.
Brings up 3rd and 10. So we've got a 34 cover 2 from the Sussex Thunder with both outside linebackers walked up, so it's actually presenting itself as a 52. But with the outside linebackers in a 2-point stance.
They've actually got 6 walked up here. I'm sure one of them is going to drop out, but I'm not sure exactly what sort of front they're in right now.
So initially, what they're saying is we need to pressure this quarterback and take away his time to make some decent reads.
This is a 6-0-5 right now. Going to generate some pressure. Got the numbers to play. Good safe coverage behind.
So it's a pitch right. I wonder if they're audible to that.
Number 46 for the Sussex Thunder.
So he's tackled for a gain of about 1, brings up 4 for 9. Are surely going to punt from this position.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts on that first drive, James?
So cagey from both sides, I think. They're just finding their feet in the game. I think we've already just seen one run from number 30, Adam Energy, but he'll be looking to get himself more involved in the game.
So Tom Kelly, number 83, back to return again. Number 24 is up back, Neville Reid. Ball's away cleanly with a tailwind. So number 24 is playing a dangerous game there. He was close enough to pick the ball up, but he decided to go for contact about 2 yards away. I mean, he came better off on the contact, but as a coach, Jonathan, what would you be saying to him there?
Well, you don't want to sort of cramp your player's style too much. Number 24 has just laid a physical mark really early on in this game. Actually, in the first bit, we didn't see any real hits in that first drive. We've traded 2 punts. They were just form tackles, no real sort of extreme violence. And that's the first time we've seen someone physically put the body on someone. So yeah, I'd like him to be further away from the ball. There was a clear poison call, but still, you've got to play the game the way you play the game, which is physical.
Motion left. Let's give left.
Wow! Stopped in the backfield by Jordan Leg,
That's-
aka Superman.
And there he is, the man I mentioned at the start of the game, Jordan Legg, leading the team on tackles this year, already making a statement early in this game.
He was aligned with really inside leverage on the second receiver, and the receiver that was motioned over really didn't do enough. Jordan slipped inside the block lovely and attacked the legs and completed a sound open field tackle.
Well, it brings up 2nd and 14, still in spread. Quarterback seems very close to the line of scrimmage, James.
I think a lot of it's coming from the fact that in the youth game they were at about 7 yards, and I think we got used to that, and that was that early pressure from the junior game with the 3-man line. The QBs kind of need to be out of there. To me, he looks like heels at 5. He looks confident enough in there. I'm not too worried about that. I think it's more just the difference from the junior game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw he was calm under pressure. There was pressure from the defensive line, but he managed to step up, make a throw. I mean, he wasn't on target, but the intent was there, James.
Oh yeah. I think 16 from the Thunder played majority of the game last week, and definite looked comfortable in the pocket. Like to see
Eber Kington.
Like to see
Trips
him.
right. Drops back, looks right. It's going over the top.
And the penalty caught by a Sussex player. It will be a
So it's number 11, James Brooker with the grab. He attacked the ball, got to the high point. It was decent coverage.
Yeah,
It
that's
was a well-thrown ball. If slightly high and into wind, it held up a bit, but he made a good play.
Yeah, and it looks like Hertfordshire were in kind of a cover 4, and 18 has to play it deep. He has to play it outside. He has to play it safe because he's got the final sort of safety on that man. But the safety had to give him a little bit more help there and come and maybe make a physical statement, a play on the ball.
So it brings up a first down on a 44-yard line. Zone left, inside, number 62 gets a hand on him.
And really interesting play design there. They didn't really get much out of it, but as they've just seen Jordan make a great play previously when they motioned over, number 1, it was again aligned at the line of scrimmage, right inside the box. And Sussex Thunder ran a bubble screen on the play side of the play, which number 1 completely and utterly ignored. Now, it was a handoff and they stuffed the run, but is that something Sussex
Are they
can come
looking to
back
see what happens next time? Apologies, it was number 92 on the stop. So trips right, back left, got too high, throws underneath.
caught by number 6.
So that's very calm play by the quarterback. He saw that soft cushion from the outside cornerback on the single side as opposed to the trips. He knew he was going to have very little help over the top, so he has to back off. He took the hook underneath. That's classic air raid. If you're going to give us that hook, we're going to take it until you do something differently.
That's right. And the Cheetahs, in their soft zone coverage there on that side, caught out there on the short ball.
You see once, so we go to let's go to spread motion left to trips. QB looks right. I mean, that's a good catch and throw, but was it an intelligent throw?
I don't know.
He was bracketed well with it.
First down.
Number 2 from the Cheetahs, Matt Smith, was coming in hot on that ball.
My point is this, James. It was a completion, but it could have quite easily been a pick six.
Definitely.
Is that something you would expect them to do long term? Because sooner or later it's going to hurt them.
I don't know. Sussex have talked about eliminating mental errors, and so far it looks pretty good, but one slip away.
And actually, the QB from his opening drive seems to have found his feet and has really settled down and is stepping into his
he's
throws.
making reads now, isn't he? So zone right, gets a good push off the line.
Great power from the running back.
That is what you like to see, Jonathan.
Yeah.
That running back was not making a move. He was getting his shoulder pads down. He's way behind him, and he was
driving. If you're going to run these air raid teams and you're going to spread the field and you're going to spread that defense out, when you hand the ball to a ball carrier, you absolutely want them to be going vertically immediately, running behind the pads, and
brings
saying,
up 2nd and 4. I mean,
if you're spread thin, we've got you.
Yeah, I mean, 2nd and 4, you've now got every play in your playbook open to you. You can take a deep shot, so are they going to drop back? You can take someone underneath. I mean, he's a big unit, the halfback. Same play again to the left.
Now, quite interestingly, they're using this motion, and it's going well this drive, but they don't seem to be getting a lot from the motion. The guy they're motioning across, he isn't really blocking number 1 Jordan very well. You know, so
why put him there?
Well, I mean, maybe half blocking him's good enough on the inside zone. But also, they're leaving this defensive end on our near side unblocked, and it doesn't look like the QB can really.
No, he doesn't look like he's going to tuck it and run on a zone read.
And maybe it's something where they are setting up that if Sean comes back into the game.
Brings up 3rd and 2 though, Jonathan. Drops back, looks left, throws a soft pass underneath.
And that is a beautiful ball. Absolutely, this QB is heating up.
If anybody's interested, this is classic air raid. We had a fade out. He checked the fade first, wasn't sure because the coverage was deep on the cornerback. He went immediately to the out. A good confident throw, a nice grab, and it picks up the first down.
That's right, and that's how they had success against this Cheetahs team in their first matchup. Looking long first of all, and then on the out routes to the outside of the pitch as a second read.
So, I mean, this is an impressive second drive for the Sussex Thunder offence with a different QB in than expected. Looks like cover 4. Low snap. I think his knee's down, unfortunately.
Appears to be a sack by Armstrong. Substitution on the defense. JJ field for Jack Tripp.
Again, like the offensive line, the Cheetahs' defensive line has got great depth. So nine members of the team playing on the defensive line today. So
on a hot day like this, that's going to come to the fore in the fourth quarter.
Definitely, they'll be looking to keep as fresh as possible.
Brings up 2nd and 15. Defensive line shifts.
There's a pass rush, pass.
Throws the out.
Oh,
and he breaks 2 tackles, a third. And that is the opening score. Number 83 scampers across. Tom Kelly, the return man. That's his first chance on offense. Initially good pursuit from the Cheetahs defense, but as the both guys came in, they hit at the same time and he sort of bounced off as a Newton's cradle effect. He made one good open field move and he was in.
That's it. Just stepped through the arm tackles and was able to walk in for an easy touchdown.
So he's now in his holder and it's blocked.
Oh. It appears to be a 2-point.
So no score on the play. You can't kick it to a receiver and claim a reception, but he was going to celebrate that anyway. How often does a big guy catch the ball in the end zone?
That's another block though from the Cheetahs special teams unit. They're making a habit of this with a couple last week as well.
Well, that's the thing, Jonathan. If you're going to kick the ball, it has to be reliable.
Yeah, and it's absolutely one of the worst facets of the UK play is extra point field goal units.
We've talked about this previously.
You were seeing almost 100% in NFL and college. They changed the rules to make it harder, and you still see 95% plus. It is so hit and miss, and it is so dangerous to get one block to get it returned as well. I mean, okay, yeah, you want to give up the 1 or 2 points, but it's a phase of the game that is so far behind some other bits. We've just seen a brilliant air raid drive, 6 completions, distributing the ball all over the field.
Why aren't they throwing the ball in the red zone?
Excellent skill to do it. And
really hard running on that inside zone.
Yeah, we've seen hard running. We've seen up front blocking well for pass pro, and we've seen for run pro. And then a lot of teams get into this mindset where they're going to line up and take it on extra point, and they're not violent, they're not aggressive, and actually the number of blocks we see on extra points is
so James, talk to us about the 2 return men back for the Cheetahs.
So, as I mentioned before, you got 44, Rodwell, and then a new player to the Cheetahs with the white helmet, Ricardo.
He's about to field the ball.
Excellent things about his speed. And
middle return, it looks like there might be a hole.
Doesn't look like he's going down. His feet does not want to stop.
An excellent driving feet
That's a
to
great
get him.
return to about a 44-yard line.
Cheetahs bringing it up to the 42.
A great addition.
Like we talked last week, Jonathan, about that return man hitting the gaps with real confidence, and he made 10, 12 yards through contact purely because he was committed.
Absolutely. But all of the players on the kick return unit played with intensity, with aggression, with violence on the front foot. You know, you need that from your extra point unit as well. You need to attack and set your blocks extremely hard, because that defense is going to run over.
So cover 2.
Got a 2-by-2 spread here.
Looks
like the middle
men on the
linebacker's
line.
looking at the hole a little bit because he is awfully deep.
6-man rush.
Run on the field for the moment.
So the Sussex Thunder head coach talking about their main plan on defence was to stop this ground attack from the Cheetahs.
Appears to be some extracurriculars happening at the end of the play.
So the halfback hit the line, but actually stopped and almost did a jump cut to his left and scampered on for another 5 yards. That was superb vision.
He's an unbelievable back, and he has been for a few years. And one of his biggest things is he is a big man. Adam is a big man, but he's so graceful and he's so in control, and he's got split-second acceleration. He truly is a wonderful back. Look at the size of him.
52 cover 2 from the Thunder's defence. Drops back, looks right. Throws a stop underneath. Oh!
Close interception by the Sussex.
A real opportunity for a pick 6 there, but I've just noticed that number 1, Sean Lewis, is in the game at middle backer. Okay, they've been looking at this 34 sort of cover 2 approach. Traditionally, that backer needs to be able to get out of the box a little bit, maybe run the Tampa 2, maybe get out to the flat. But number 1, Sean Lewis, is in the game at middle linebacker.
So trips right. You see, singled out on the left. QB looks left. He's given a signal to his receiver. Are we going to see a shot deep? Inside zone left. And that is a first down. Another great run from number 30.
Adam running the football with purpose. That appears to be
Adam Adeniji, leading the team in rushing yards despite being out for the last 2 games.
And as said previously, he's the threat man that the Thunder are trying to shut down to try and win this game.
That's right, but the Cheetahs, since losing Adam, have expanded their roster at the halfback position and picked up another 2 dangerous men to watch out for.
Throws a bubble underneath. It's caught. Flag on the floor. I think number 50 is going to get done for some extracurriculars. It's one of the guards.
Stuart Butcher, leader of the offensive line unit there.
It's going to be an interesting one. It can go either way.
I think what we're seeing, James, is these big men are trying to assert their authority, because with such similarly matched teams, similar schemes, this is going to come down to the trenches.
Definitely.
Who is going to control the line of scrimmage? And number 50 there was trying to say, I am going to control the line of scrimmage. Now,
oh, it looks like it's actually gone against the Thunder team there.
so necessary roughness.
The defense, Hertfordshire Cheetahs are making their way upfield with a 15-yard added on penalty.
Yeah, it didn't look quite natural on that, and I thought if number 50 was finishing off the job, and it appears that number 51 for the Sussex Thunder has instigated the contact a bit roughly, and actually number 50's just finished it, and the referees have recognised that.
So we're on the right hash, we're still in spread, which means there's a lot of real estate for this Thunder defence to cover on their right. The defence is right, the offence is
and
left.
the Thunder seem to be committing their outside linebackers to play
Stop
in the
this
run,
run game.
which means that this Mike linebacker looks uncomfortable walked out versus number
Drops
80.
back, looks right again, and that is picked.
Tends to be an interception by Sussex Thunder, and he is returning the ball. It's been tackled down by the 40, by the 50.
Well, that was not a good decision. He threw to the narrow side of the field.
Yeah.
The defence were expecting the pass were in cover 2. The safety was already there.
They had 3 over 2 really calmly, inside out.
The defence were lucky in that it bounced off a hand and he caught it, but once again, that's a poor decision.
And actually, the left slot, number 80, was in a whole load of space to the field, and he was working against a walked-out Mike Backer who looked uncomfortable in his stance.
I don't even think the Mike Backer was close enough to be in effect. That was left to the safety.
Yeah,
you throw any sort of quick game, he's got to get the pass.
Unfortunately, the left slot was on a slant, so it took him into the Mike, but he runs straight past him into that middle hole, that soft spot in the cover 2. Instead of a big play, they've ended up turning the ball over.
Motion by the offense. Run pass. He is swallowed up by the line, by the 3 line. As the band ball's getting to work.
So it's good to see number 85 and number 1 after a decent hit, shaking each other's hands, really getting into the spirit of this game. It's a rough and tumble game, James, but it looks like it's going to be played in the right spirit.
What's really interesting is that's that motion man again. That okay, Sussex Thunder are ahead in the game. They are enjoying this opening period of the game. They're doing quite well, but it seems to be the least effective thing because number 1 set the edge brutally, extremely hard, didn't get moved, and the backside pursuit gobbled the running back up when he stopped his feet.
Motion on the offense.
Steps back. Throws the slant underneath. I think that was a stick.
And he is brought down by a great tackle.
Are we calling that a stick play there, Jonathan?
Pardon?
Calling that a stick?
No, I don't think it was a stick. It looked like the number 2 receiver was on a deep in, and it looked like the number 3 receiver was breaking out. So it looked like a variation of sort of Y shallow, but they motioned the Y across, and it ended up being a Y flat with an in-breaking route over the top.
So, James, what's the defensive coordinator going to be thinking at the moment? We know what Thunder are going to come out. What does this Cheetahs defense need to do right now?
I think at the moment still stick to the game plan. I think we're going to look to pressure on the edges with our pass rushers and hope that our outside linebackers...
One's going, he's timed it, and he chases it down.
There you go, and the outside linebackers can make the play
I'm
there.
going to make a very flattering comparison to Lawrence Taylor chasing the ball carried down from behind on the edge rush.
He'll be thrilled to hear that, I'm sure.
But 100% there, Max Duffin, if he is reading him, he has to take advantage of that. The quarterback, if the quarterback is not going to pull it versus that obvious of a blitz and pursuit, he's never going to pull it.
But the thing is though, Jonathan, are they executing just an inside zone or is it a zone read? It doesn't look like the quarterback is reading anybody, he's just handing the ball off.
But that means that they're leaving a defender completely unblocked, and this is going to happen all day.
They chased it down here for no gain. So 2nd and 9.
Motion on the Sussex's offense.
The line very narrow, the Sussex Thunder.
Jordan leg chasing the quarterback.
QB releases from the pocket, goes to the sideline.
And actually, Max Duffin there shows a good turn of pace, and actually, like, now I'm excited. Early on I was thinking, maybe he's not pulling it for a reason, but he just showed a good quickness.
Yeah, I mean,
he
but he was
accelerated
chased
away.
down the pocket there wasn't a read.
But he picked up an 8-yard gain, and actually I'd like to see him keep it on a read because he's just shown a turn of pace that could actually stop number 1 getting that entire pressure all the time.
So that's Ebba Kington in at starting quarterback. It's the first time we've seen him run with the ball.
Sorry, I've been reading off the wrong roster. Max Duffin is the other side. Sorry, so
Trips
it's
right,
Ebba Kington.
back right. 42 box, cover 2. Drops back, looks left on the hook underneath.
Caught by the receiver short. Great tackle by the DB.
They're just taking the yards where the defense gives it to them now.
Well, here's
Moving
the
the
thing,
ball
James,
forward.
though, it's nothing fancy, but if that guy's going to give you a cushion and you only need 2 yards for the first down, really 2.5 yards is enough. I mean, that's
That's it, yeah.
intelligent read by the quarterback. So it moves the chains. Currently leading 6-0 in the first quarter. Sussex Thunder have the ball. Currently going into wind.
So by the defense so far, but it is a first down for Sussex Thunder.
Mercifully for the players, the temperature's dipped a bit. We've got about 5/8 cloud cover. Zone right.
Excellent tackle by Jack Tripp, coming in like a missile.
Jack Tripp, one of our
Coming in like a missile.
armed forces representatives there today on the disruption.
Was he infrared or radar guided then?
Came in like a commando.
So I just mentioned once again, this game is also raising money for the Armed Forces charity. A number of players at this the Cheetahs here have connections with the Armed Forces, both currently serving and ex-serving.
And not just the Cheetahs, I think American football as a sport in Britain
Goes long down the sideline.
is well represented by the armed forces.
Good job, Sussex. But bad job, Hertfordshire.
That's the first time I've seen them test out the sideline against this cover 2, but the cornerback went with him and the safety rotated. It's cover 4,
Got
sorry.
another third down coming up.
Ball's on the left hash, Tripp's right.
I think Sussex will be looking for an outside shot or an underneath
Number
shot.
83, QB's looking towards. It's going long for 83, towards the sideline. Oh!
What a stop by the
Number
defense.
18 makes the stop.
Very well recovered. He'd lost a step on his receiver there.
I
But-
think he was fortunate, James, that the ball was slightly underthrown.
He's bringing it down to 4th down.
He did a good job of disrupting the wide receiver's view.
So intelligent, I mean, we had trips there, but what we saw was the two inside receivers were very, very narrow, which basically put that outside receiver in a trips formation on an island against the cornerback. Now, if I'm that cornerback and I see the quarterback looking to the guy who's already scored one, who's their return man, he's obviously a speed merchant, you put on an island, if you drop back deep, they're going to throw the ball underneath.
That's it.
If you come up close, they're going to try to throw it over
Especially
the top.
when you're setting it up each drive by throwing the inside or the underneath ball.
Punt sent sky high. It's going to be seen left by the Hertfordshire Cheetahs.
So it's a short punt on 4th down.
A good hold in the end from the Hertfordshire defence there. Let's see if they can
What we're seeing,
generate anything on offence.
what we're seeing, Jonathan, is this Thunder offense is going to take shots. If it's a true air raid, if they're given something, they're going to go.
Oh, 100%.
And their head coach just said, after the last match, the game plan hasn't changed. It's just, can we execute better than we did previously?
And the air raid truly is about the field being 53 yards wide, 100 yards long, and using all the real estate you can. But Hertfordshire will be pleased with this. They've had a few solid defensive stands now, and they just really need to keep the mistakes out the equation, because Adam's given them a great platform in the run game. It's just been one or two mistakes, penalties and turnovers that stop them.
Inside zone right, and he's smothered.
Can't seem to break away.
Yeah, and Adam has that glide step and that tendency to stop his feet and dance into a gap.
Number 57, David Laurie on the stop,
But
defensive
you
lineman.
can't make 2 or 3 moves in the backfield. You can make one cut, but not 2 or 3. Eventually the pursuit will get to you.
Well, I mean, they're facing a 50 front, so you've got to think they're keying on the run. At what point are you going to start exploiting the fact that they're thin at second level?
Yeah, so over here it looks like the 2v2 on the outside, both sides. A running back swing this way would put number 5 in a real bind.
Wrong play. Adam breaking away from the defenders, making his way upfield.
So nice play down there. The counter, we had the hand right, so it initially looked like an inside zone right, but we pulled, I think, the right guard, who opened up a big hole, and the running back was patient enough to follow his lead blocker and then cut upfield.
Yeah, excellent running there from Adam, and that ends the first quarter. And Hertfordshire will be pleased. They've got out from under their own goal line. They're kind of approaching midfield now. Second quarter, they've got to be thinking, okay, back to 0-0, let's go score. Because it's a 6-point game.
Exactly.
A score and an extra point and you're winning.
Hertfordshire Cheetahs offense, who finally get the ball rolling.
And actually, on most of the run plays so far, Adam's been successful picking up 3, 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, and it really has just been penalties and one tipped ball interception that has stopped them. I must say that the Cheetahs look excellent in the new camo kits, another nod to the Armed Forces Day. I am a little concerned how early they were dressed. They were dressed around about 1 p.m. and they've been out in this sun for a solid 2 hours so far in dark uniforms. We'll see if they fatigue a little bit quicker than normal.
You can see number 19 from the Cheetahs, Teo Adekunle, has come into the game. A recent transfer from the Leicester Falcons. He'll be looking to open it up over the middle.
Thunder showing all sorts of pressure before the snap. And that's all-out blitz. A 7-man blitz. QB manages to get it away.
Good job making his way upfield. Good running man Nick.
7-man rush. I mean, it had the desired effect. He got pressure, but the QB was calm enough. He got the ball out, and that's a dangerous game to play. If that QB's calm enough under pressure to release the ball, you're leaving very few people to actually make an open field tackle.
The Sussex cornerback did well to shed that block and make that play.
I mean, it's concerning that they would telegraph it so early that they are showing that 7-man blitz. I mean, It was clear what they were going to do before the snap of the ball. QB looks left. He's looking to throw left. Number 44. Now at this point, as offensive coordinator, I would be having a word with the QB and saying, stop looking where you're about to throw the ball pre-snap, because I've called it a couple times now. The middle linebackers and the outside linebackers must be thinking, if they've seen this on tape, you're giving the game away.
And the defender's doing a very good job of swarming on that ball quickly.
Well, as predicted, it's a close game, 6-0 in the second quarter.
It's worth noting that Martin Brown, the Hertfordshire Cheetahs QB, is also another member of the Armed Forces, getting the start today ahead of another.
Left.
Play to the outside. H has got the wheels going. Runs into a
Martin, the QB, getting the start ahead of 2 other QBs on the roster who have all had game time this season.
So it brings up 3rd and about 4. Inside their own half on a 40.
Looks like 4th down and a punting team set out on the
4th and 4. Got the punt team on is what I was trying to say. So number 83 back to return. We've already seen him in the open. He's got speed. He's a strong individual. He's got moves as well. We've already seen him kick the ball away from him. It's a good rush. Fair catch.
Calls the fair catch.
And that's got to be a personal foul. A clear fair catch signal by the returner, number 24, and it was contact after he caught it, number 27. And it's things like that, James, that this is going to be a close game. It's things like that that can give momentum or turn momentum or give you good field position that you just can't afford to do.
That's right, an extra 15 yards tacking onto the end of that catch.
And that can take you all the way to the half-yard line.
That's right.
You've got a tailwind. We know the quarterback has got a decent arm. We know they've got speedy receivers on the outside.
The boys in back of the field, the Hertfordshire Cheetahs defense, led again by the legendary Ben Groves.
Here's the thing, Jonathan. In this position, you're looking at your own sort of 30-yard line, somewhere near halfway. Are you slightly less conservative if you're starting the ball with this field position in your play calling, or do you just take what you get?
It takes a little bit of pressure off, but there's a few schools of thoughts on it. Some coordinators scheme largely through position and down and distance and hashes and things like that. Some coordinators, I think Gus Malzahn of Auburn is one of the ones that really sort of holds his plays based on where they are on the field and gets people used to it and practices it. So it seems well enough to say but it certainly relieves pressure. 83 on a now screen is wide open.
He's got a swing pass to the back, cuts inside, gets a block for number 83, he's still rumbling, cuts back again, he's got blockers downfield and finally brought down by number 51.
Just an amazing play there. Number 1 for the Hertfordshire Cheetahs. So what was his name again?
That's Jordan Legg.
Jordan Legg. He played his leverage inside out really hard, but he wasn't there quick enough. The slot receiver didn't do a great job on the block, but he got enough on him to get the guy outside. And these sort of constraint plays are great. Hertfordshire are trying to bring pressure. They're trying to bring that man to run down the run play from behind. Well, you've got to break the box. You've got to add a constraint play, and they've just done that, and they've picked up a huge gain with some great running after the catch.
So the left hash trips right, 1st and 10 on a 30-yard line, on a 29-yard line. Inside zone left.
Defense chasing the play.
So there we have, Jonathan, the exact opposite of what you were praising the run game of this air raid offense. A running back going sideways rather than committing to a 2-yard gain.
And what was really interesting on that, the completed bubble screen to number 1 side of the field has had the desired effect already. Yes, the play didn't work very well. It was strung out. It didn't make many yards. But number 1, number 18, and number 2 all stood still post-snap, and 3 players respected the backside bubble. That's a slight advantage to the Sussex Thunder that they need to continue to work on. Okay, the front side blocking didn't hold up. The running back bounced a little bit too quickly. But right now, the Cheetahs are playing 3 over 2 on the weak side. You know what that means? You've got 9 on 8 front side.
And as you say, they didn't manage to exploit it there, but it's there to be exploited.
And sadly, we've got a player down injured. He's a player who's played with a lot of hustle and bustle. I think it's 28. He's been running hard, but he seems to have a sore knee at the moment. And actually, players look like they're heading to the sidelines. It looks like it might be a little bit of time here.
I mean, one thing I will say, James, is this Cheetahs sideline, they've got a big squad and certainly much larger than the Thunder. But it's got to be a 50-man squad.
Oh yeah, and I think that's one of the draws to the Hertfordshire Cheetah, drawing in players from up in London and all around. We're a very well-run outfit here, and it draws this large squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, success breeds success, doesn't it? I mean, the head coach of the Cheetahs here was saying he gets 40 guys to practice midweek. If you know it's going to be a 40-man practice, it's worth going to, because you're going to get good quality practice. They've got 14 coaches. You can see right across the board, all the way down from flag, through junior and youth, up to the senior team. I mean, this club looks particularly healthy from where we're looking today. But Thunder have the ball with a narrow 6-point lead. 2nd and 10 on the Cheetahs' 29-yard line.
It looks like the Cheetahs' number 4 cornerback has come down and adding a bit of pressure.
Pass play. Quarterback looks downfield.
Slotted in excellently there between the linebackers there.
That's an interesting observation. Number 4 was down in the press, which meant he had to have support deep from his free safety. But again, in that trips formation, they've played 2 over 1 there.
Yeah.
And so, you're playing 10 versus 9 on the other side of the field. And they managed to use that trips formation, snuck a guy in between the 2 linebackers. And the two linebackers, we're still trying to be polite, look like run stuffers. They don't look like sideline to sideline flyers. They look like guys who are going to be hard-nosed physically. And they managed to slip the number 3 receiver right between the 2 middle backers.
Yeah, it was a good read by the quarterback. He also had the other inside receiver. So press coverage on number 6 on the sideline. Number 1 looks like he's about to blitz, a bit of pressure.
Movements before the ball snapped.
So what we're starting to see now, James, is this defence starting to mix it up a little bit. We saw number 1 start to creep on the front side blitz. A few more motions from Sussex.
A full start by number 16, and it is a first down for the Cheetahs.
It's fortunate for the Cheetahs.
And actually, if you see how far overhung the Hertfordshire Cheetahs' right defensive end is, if they come out in this trips formation again, which I expect them to continue with, really, they've got 3 players outside the left tackle, whereas Sussex have only got 1 outside there. Any run away and you are massively outnumbering.
Looks right again, throws to the corner. It's a poor ball.
Incomplete pass.
Yeah, the outside receiver on a fade, but the QB just didn't get hold of that one.
You could see there was a kind of as soon as he released the ball, you knew it was nowhere near.
That's
And
an
actually, he's
interesting
quite
choice
lucky
because
because the coverage was quite good.
I was going to say it's an interesting choice. He had trips right, and there was only 2 defensive backs lined up over that, which meant the 2 inside receivers were covered by 1 guy. Yet he still went for the one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, and
So
I'm sure.
fancying number 83.
I'm sure one of the linebackers would have been leaving the box. But there's the old adage: you've got to make the cover guys tackle and make the tackle guys cover, and so that's an advantage they're going to look to exploit.
Looks right again, down the middle. That is a dangerous ball because number 2 was waiting. He read it. He just spied the QB's eyes. Oliver Kent.
That's Matt Smith on the coverage.
Third down to Sussex. We'll be trying to go
Of the Matt Smith of the Cheetahs on the coverage. Don't know who the targeted receiver was.
I'm looking at the wrong list. I've caught your disease, Jonathan.
No, Matt Smith is coming off an incredible game last week, with 2 pick sixes against the Oxford Saints. So he'll be full of confidence.
I mean, he read it well, but I think it was just QB spy at that point. He watched the QB's eyes the whole way. So it brings up 3rd and 15. Goes back, looks right.
Quarterback scrambling, seems to be brought down by the D-line.
That's good pressure from the defensive line there.
4 down.
So you're 6-0 up. You're on the 14-yard line. Are you going to try and make it 9-0 or take a shot? This is going
Depends
to be a
if you
close
can
game.
kick or not. You've just had your first extra point blocked in pretty tragic fashion. It depends what your unit's like. You know, the standard play here is to kick it, take the points, make it a 2-score game, but we don't know what the field goal unit's like. Although the one time we've seen them, it wasn't great.
Well, I think the fact they've taken a timeout, it's more likely that he's given them a play as opposed to just saying, make sure you kick it this time. So I think we might see them go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I'd like to see like a running back swing screen behind this trips. They've definitely got them outnumbered. Maybe speed option into the trips because as it stands, when they're in this formation with trips right, they definitely have a numerical advantage to the right.
So the kicking unit comes out. It's on the left hash. They're going to spot the ball on the floor at about the 23-yard line. He's got it's 10-yard end zone, so 33 yards from the post with a slight tailwind going from his right to left.
The Cheetahs will be chomping at the bit to get after this.
Good snap, good hold. It's away.
Oh, it's just the edge. Up.
Slightly right.
He's missed
Wide
the
right.
field goal. Score still remains 6-0 for Sussex. Hertfordshire defense.
And
okay,
the ball drifted in the wind a little bit there, but the coach clearly has more faith in his kicking unit than I did. They held up much better that time. I think maybe early on in the game they were so excited to get the lead that they relaxed a touch, and there was a huge block. But on that one, the front unit were much stronger, much firmer.
Yeah, and the kicker got hold of it. It was a lovely
Just
snap
drifted.
and hold as well. But
The wind did raise ever so slightly, and he only missed by an inch or two.
So a get
Big
out of jail
drive,
free card there for the Cheetahs. Take the ball over
Big drive for the Cheetahs.
on their own 20-yard line.
They come
Trailing 6-0 in the second.
They come out in the 2x2 spread, and it looks like we've got either a cover 2 or maybe a cover 4. The corners are backing off slightly.
Number 58 on the stuff.
Yeah, and it was
Michael
Kiki Wowo.
Number 58 on the stop.
Yeah, big Mike.
He was a big unit, and he had
and it was one of those
square.
plays where it's a zone and the coach draws it up like that and it looks like it's blocked, but I always refer to it as a big boy block.
Yeah.
Your right guard is trying to block a 3-tech who's shaded, and the running back goes in the B gap. You're fighting a losing battle. That D tackle can use his free arm to latch on late.
He's got trips right to the narrow side. Inside zone right. Oof. Now we see number 13 execute the fake run afterwards to try and freeze that backside box defender. Be interesting to see if we see him keep it next time, because they've not been successful so far. We've had 2 zone rights, both stuffed.
And it's interesting to see that number 34 is in the backfield, Hafiz Biziru, instead of number 30, Adam Adam.
So Hafiz is also known as H. He's come in over the last few games and he's shown some excellent potential, rushing for over 100 yards last week and scoring a 70-yard plus touchdown.
That's excellent. The Sussex defence looks quite physical though, and he does seem a bit of a lighter back. He seems like a lighter option, maybe a bit more sort of twitchy, a little bit more make you miss kind of guy than Adam, who's got that smooth running style and brings the power. Once again, we reach a lull in the play and the DJ takes it up a notch.
So I'm just going to take this opportunity to put a shout out to the referees once again.
Getting ready to make stuff happen.
www.bafra.info if you're interested in becoming a referee. So single receiver on the left. Help over the top now. Number 19 makes a clean grab.
Great catch.
Number 12.
That's Teo on the catch. First catch back in receiver's uniform.
And it's a good look at something that's really hot right now with a formation into the boundary. A lot of people think, oh, you'll put the trips to the wide side of the field. Putting the numbers into the boundary makes the defence put their numbers into the boundary.
Here's the thing, Jonathan.
It opens up space in the field.
But the thing there was, you had the cornerback over him, and the one of the safeties from the cover two walked over, so he was actually double covered.
He was.
And still managed to get free in a great delivery and catch. Zone right, in fact, power right, 64 pulling from the left.
Again, Adam is contacted at the 33-yard line, but drags the pile to the looks like the 37, 38-yard line. Great power in the contact there.
So I've seen the Cheetahs offense run this power to both sides now. I mean, why are you running that power as opposed to just a straightforward inside zone?
Well, because the Sussex Thunder pretty much, like you say, have been in a 5-man front. They get to work the shades pretty well. The outside linebackers are completely committed to the run. So if you go man for man, they go man for man and play the shades, and it's all gobbled up. So you have to find a way.
Been met by a lot of Sussex players, but refuse to go down.
You have to find a way of creating an extra gap. And in 10 personnel football, it's very difficult to create an extra gap. That's traditionally the role of the tight end, the H-back, the full-back. So when you're in 10 personnel football, the only way to create an extra gap is to pull someone from the backside. We're seeing a lot of spread power, we're seeing power read, we're seeing counter read. It's really hot right now in college football and in the NFL, and it's starting to come into the UK game.
God's play.
Well,
God's play, power football.
And here we see formation into the boundary again with that wide receiver out on an island. So what we're saying is, yeah, he's double covered, but he knows where he's going, the QB knows where he's going, and they have to respect these numbers over here.
So we have a busted play, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's what I called for a little bit earlier. I think it was supposed to be either like a running back pitch or a running back swing
with
screen.
With a read to a front side power.
Potentially, yeah, but I think it was actually maybe just a swing screen this way and the running back went the wrong way.
So
the
James,
blockers were set up for him.
So James, what have you seen that play design before from this offense?
Yeah, they will like to formation to the narrow side, and then we have a large audible package. They'll read the secondary, see what is given to them on that ISO side, and change the play accordingly. It just looks like in that last play
so
there's a bit of confusion.
That hangs incredibly highly. Fair catch called, number 83. Number 29 needs to watch himself. It's a fair catch signal.
And Hartfordshire escaped without a penalty. Defense is back on, led onto the field by Jay Jackson.
I don't know what your thoughts are in there, but it was my understanding that you make any sort of contact after a fair catch, it's potentially a flag.
Yeah,
and I know he didn't hit him with intent, but it's still contact.
That should have been a penalty. If you grab someone's face cage, it's a penalty whether you hurt them or not. Clearly, a fair catch guy is supposed to be given a metre of clear space to catch the ball in, and he was hit after. Those type of things, if you don't believe that they're going to protect you on the fair catch, they make you think twice about taking a fair catch. And I actually think that they've got away with one there.
Yeah, I would have thrown a flag on that because he made contact. Whether it was malicious or not, he still made contact. So trips right. Starting to look like still in cover 2.
Motion run away from the field, run to the field side.
Number 1's there again. Now I'm not sure whether that was a predetermined blitz given a 6-man rush or whether just both of those linebackers made a really quick read.
It seems like he's playing aggressive every time they motion. We've not yet seen them do a motion and do a play action pass off it. They keep motioning someone to the point of attack, and all that does is bring an extra defender to the point of attack.
Which, if in the case of number 1, you don't want him there.
Exactly.
You
he's
want him away.
Hell of an athlete. So if he's the actual extra defender that you're bringing into the run fit, it's kind of poor play design. You want to be motioning him. You want to be motioning him away from the point of attack so that number 1 leaves the box.
So it brings up 2nd and 15. Bubble left. I think the QB wanted to throw that, but he couldn't quite get control of the ball with his hand. He was trying to seat it probably before he threw it. Now he's intelligent. He didn't try and shot put it out there, but he ran out of time and was hit in the backfield.
2 Cheetah defenders there, pressuring him.
So that's another 5-yard loss. Brings up 3rd and 20 on their own 25-yard line. So after a promising start in the first quarter, the Thunder's offense is going through a bit of a dry patch at the moment.
I think the Cheetahs made some good adjustments up front.
Very long for the Sussex Thunder.
See how they deal with this obvious passing down.
So he fakes the swing and goes on the is that a chair route? So that was nice. He looked for the swing pass to try and bring that safety down or the outside backer over, and he hit the inside receiver who'd run a chair pattern with the 2 outside guys clearing out. Classic air raid.
You're from a certain generation when you call it the chair and not a wheel, aren't you? But it's okay. We appreciate it. Bringing us that old sort of terminology, but yeah. But yeah, absolutely right. And the QB gave it about a 3-pump fake.
Yeah.
And actually he did very well, because I don't think they were sold on the first or the second. But he held it so long and he held his eyes for so long that when he threw the strike, it was
that
wide
takes
open.
kahunas as well for that QB to stand in there, because he
Absolutely.
knows
Play after a
somebody's
sack.
coming. Somebody's coming. So I think that's an outside zone perhaps.
But number 1 again, okay, he's kind of been blocked ugly and he's down in the dusty turf. But because he made the running back stop his feet and bounce all the way around him, his defense pursued him behind, gobbled it up, and we've got another 2 or 3 yard loss.
So 2nd and 12. After a great wheel pass the previous play.
I must admit, when I first started playing football, it was called a chair as well. I'm just trying to act young.
When did you first start playing football, Jonathan?
I started playing in '99 because there wasn't any youth before then, really. That was when I turned
back,
16.
Swing right. Looks.
But I held the chains for the St Helens Cardinals from the late '80s, early '90s when I was very little. One of my best friend's dad, Michael Hoare, his dad played wide receiver for the St Helens Cardinals, and I used to be on the down box at the line of scrimmage from the age of about 5 years old on a Sunday, holding the chains, watching the game, taking it in. But I had to wait till I was 16 years old before I could play. So it's lovely being at a day like this today, seeing 13, 14-year-old kids playing flag football and getting those skills a little bit further.
So the QB
increased.
took the check down option on that last play. 40 front.
Offense, go back, goes deep.
And
That is a beautiful. The quarterback was looking to get smacked in the face. But number 90 got immediate pressure and ran through the running back.
It's that perfect distance of completion on the seam route for the sort of air raid. They're looking at 15 to 18. If you throw that at 20 or 22, the free safety becomes active, and they got it over the backers in before the safeties became active, and that's a huge play to get a first down.
So number 16 starting to run hot again. He's had some great reads. He's managed to check down previously to a swing. He's hit the seam with great effect.
I'd be really...
Running the outside by the running back. Great stop by Jordan Legg. Sandwiching the running back. Practicing his WWE moves.
So we see a bit of a mismatch. We had a wide receiver trying to block number 1, James. What are your thoughts on that?
No chance on there. He was lucky to walk away with his jersey intact after that hit.
Yeah, and it's been a boom or bust drive, hasn't it? They've marched down the field methodically, but it's been 5 yards backwards, 20 yards forward, 5 yards backwards, 5 yards
that's
backwards,
air raid
20
though.
yards
You've
forward.
always got that big play potential. You only need to hit one.
I think the experts would like the bad plays to be zeros or 1 yard gains rather than -6.
So still only 6-0 to Thunder. Drops back, looks left, throws the out.
Oh, what a pick!
Number 40!
And that is a huge momentum change. And I've got to say, I didn't know that they had that in the locker. I was critical of them before, saying, hey, maybe these guys are run fit guys. But number 40 left the box perfectly and made a one-handed interception, and it may have just changed the ball game.
I was just about to say what Hertfordshire needed the most was a game-changing play like that, and there it is.
And you can see the whole sidelines lifted. The body language has changed. There's high fives. Coaches are clapping. People are getting water. People are screaming, wows, come on. And big play, momentum change, and here we go, trips to the field.
And the Cheetahs straight out to take advantage.
Offense on the field.
So got edge blitz coming from Thunder.
Start, run off to pass play.
So
Not too bad there. Quarterback was all over him. Had to break away.
I mean, I think the cornerback had really good coverage there, but it was a poorly thrown ball as well.
Yeah.
It's into wind. The wind's starting to bluster a bit.
Yeah, it's really picking up here and getting gusty.
Just a little comment there. With that play action, you had the front side outside backer untouched on an edge blitz. How long is your quarterback going to last if you don't account for these guys?
Well, yeah, and he's got to pull one at some point,
So
or there's got to be some sort of shovel on him.
2nd and 10, pitch left.
On the outside.
Cuts
Making
back.
his way in, running straight into a few of the Sussex Dons players. Bringing it down for a few yard gain.
So for maybe a half a yard gain, a couple of the Sussex Thunder defensive players saying hello.
Excellent contain on the edge there.
Yeah, and again, you noticed the formation change. It was kind of more of an alignment thing. The H-back was inside the box, trying to present that extra gap. But ultimately, it just brought another defender in. You know, and it did his block at the point of attack really say, I'm here, I'm establishing myself as a fullback that you must respect.
Was he a 17.5 stone fullback that's going to give you a 5 yard drive block and somebody's going to not want to come downhill again? So, I mean, James, that's the first time we've seen him go to that two-back offence. Now, the receiver's in pretty close. How often will we expect to see this Cheetahs offence vary their formation?
Well, that formation started off as a goal line formation, but success in the field of play has seen it being used all over the pitch. And I think what they're looking to do now is they're looking to really establish Adam back into the game. And behind a fullback, that can be quite a dangerous prospect.
So, quite sensibly, the Cheetahs taking a timeout. Gather thoughts, 2 unsuccessful plays. They're 3rd and 9. Got great field position. They've not managed to capitalise on it yet. They took a deep shot down the sideline on their first play. Are we in 4-down territory here? Or are we going to try and get a field goal if we're not successful? What's the kicking team like for Cheetahs?
The kicking team is strong, and we've hit field goals this year from quite a way out, but knowing our offensive coordinator, knowing how explosive our team can be, I think this is definitely 4-down territory.
So you have spread. Too high for Thunder. Show an edge blitz, so we're going to hit the swing. Bubble underneath.
Completed pass there. Just tackled out by Sussex defense.
About 4th and 4 coming up now.
Making it a 4th and short.
Well, the offense is staying on the pitch, so we're going for it.
They're looking to go quickly.
Still on the field. We're going to go for it.
Is that timeout by Thunder? So just while we pause, we'll just name the crew and quickly give another shout out to the referees. We've got referee Pete Parsons, umpire Richard Modger, head linesman Daniel Clark, line judge Tom Blakeson, back judge Keith Wickham. Anybody that's interested in refereeing, the place to contact is www.bafra.info. refereeing is a great way to get involved in the game. It is paid, you do get expenses, and we do have a shortage of referees in this country. So here we go, Jonathan.
In the last formation, they came out in the 2x2. Slot receiver Axel Rodwell, number 44, explosive athlete, was matched up one-on-one with an extremely soft safety. And we've got the same look again. Number 44 can make a two-way move here, and I've got a feeling this could be a target.
You think we'll put number 19, the right receiver, on maybe some sort of fade to clear him out of the way?
Yeah, maybe some sort of, well, a fade means that the cornerback's back there. I'd rather see him maybe run a hitch, maybe run a 5-yard in, and make the safety make a decision. Are they going to trade it off? In which case, 44's got great leverage on the corner.
So unfortunately, we have 5-yard penalty, which makes it 4th and 9. It's that extra stretch. Drops back, looks right. Goes long again for number 19. That's a poor ball. He's very fortunate that didn't get intercepted, but as it is, it's a turnover on downs.
Yeah, and the DB's very happy with that. The bat down on 4th down is a big play. And it's one of those things where it was a bit too linear, a bit too predictable. There were 2 DBs. Both receivers ran in a straight line directly towards the DBs, and then the ball was thrown softly up into the air. It's not the type of thing I'm looking for on 4th down.
It looked like the outside receiver there was trying a double move, but he definitely didn't sell it hard enough to move that cornerback, and he was able to sit in his zone and take care of the pass quite handily.
Yeah, and why would you break on the hitch in 4th and 9? You know, why are you going to take that gamble?
It's not only that, you're on the left hash, you're thrown directly into wind.
The QB short-armed it a few times.
Across 2/3 of the pitch, you know, that's a big ask for even a strong-armed quarterback. QB with all sorts of time goes for the out.
That's a beautiful ball. Great technique from the wide receiver to high point it, to reach it out, and it looks like it gained 7 or 8 yards on that play.
I'm going to give props where props are due here, Jonathan. The offensive line made that play. That quarterback had time to sit back and make his read.
He went through his progression.
There was no pressure. That is good quality offensive line play.
But one thing is, though, the QB Kingston didn't take it for granted. He kept his feet active, he kept his eyes active. Every time his eyes moved, his feet moved, so that when he found the receiver, he was able to release it really quickly and on time.
Okay, we've got 2nd and half a yard. It's going downtown for number 6 into double coverage.
No one available. Both DBs had him in their back pocket.
Now, interestingly, Jonathan, they put the running back out on a swing pass, but covering him was number 1, who is athletic enough there. I would match him up in open space on a running back, especially a running back who's more of a power guy than an open field move guy.
But it's yeah, I mean, I agree, but 1v1 is 1v1, and both players took themselves out the play fine. What's been really important for Sussex is trying to manage how much of an impact number 1 can have in the run game, because when he's playing in the box, they're getting nothing.
Yep. So quick count, QB sneak.
Oh, the ball's out.
It appears he has been tackled. This might be contested for short.
But he's looks like he's dropped on the ball, and then look where they've spotted it. I think we're giving this as a 1st down.
So that's the first time they came out really quick, lined up under centre. It might have even been a silent count, and they've caught the Cheetahs napping. I think we're going to get a measure.
I think the initial referee that spotted it as well gave Sussex a more favourable spot, but was asked to shuffle back by the crew, and it's going to be a measure, but it looks like
just enough, doesn't it?
It looks good.
Because that 1st down marker is actually probably smack bang in the middle of the hash mark, and the ball's just breaking the front of the hash mark.
Yeah.
Game of inches.
Indeed.
Substitution happening on the D-line.
So it looks like you had Thunder trying to sneak it there for the 4th down, but there was really good pressure from Joel. It's number 63 of the Cheetahs D-line, with what looked like a fumble, but they managed to get back on top of it quickly.
Yeah, what's really good is the QB stayed aware of where the ball was, but you've absolutely got to finish the play. Our season at the Durham Saints ended this year when we thought we'd scored on a QB sneak in a 1-point game away at Swansea, and unfortunately the ball came out and it was recovered for a touchback. Things like this can change games massively. Yeah, it's a safe play usually, but you must play to the whistle. You must play till you're down, because those defenders are going to strike at that ball.
Just bringing up what you said earlier on, James, about number 63 being the captain of this defence. He was set. A lot of his defence weren't set. He's one of these leaders. He was ready to go when a lot of his team weren't.
Here we go.
Measurements coming in. This is very key. It appears to be a first down for Sussex. I agree.
It's quite nice to get the kind of the free time out for both sides here. It is a hot day, and that minute's rest. Most games would be like, oh, that took a little bit too long.
That'll help the defence more
but
against an air raid offense.
Absolutely, but these guys are playing in some heat today, so I bet they're glad to take on water.
They've got trips right, back right. We're going to see some sort of RPO.
It's a pass play from the quarterback. It's looking upfield.
So number 16's flushed out.
Heading down for the sack. He's being chased outfield by Jay Jackson.
He's done an absolutely brilliant job there to turn the corner, and he just had that internal clock going where he looked dead to right. He looked like it was going to be a huge collision sack, and something inside his head just went go, and he just immediately accelerated. You see he flushed out, but it's that kind of thing where that internal clock went in. He hears the footsteps and he's like, I've got to go now.
I think when he looked downfield on the right, he saw man coverage, and the Cheetahs defence had great coverage. All three receivers from that trips formation were covered tightly. So perhaps that gave him that little nudge to start thinking there's nothing going here. But as you say, Jonathan, he took the opportunity and he turned it, what was going to be a negative play, into an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, and for most players on the football field, if you decide to do something, you should do it furiously with 100% of your energy. That's a general sort of truism for any position. If you're going to break on the ball, break on the ball. Don't wait, don't hesitate. If you're going to make a cut, make the cut. If you're going to escape the pocket with every effort possible.
5 years, 5-yard penalty added on.
But we continue in the cycle of boom and bust for the Sussex. 8-yard gain, 5 yards back. What's next? If they hit the consistent stride, they might be able to pull away in this game.
Going by previous drives, they're going to throw a first down on the seam.
Yeah, or a wheel, or a chair.
Chair? What's that?
Second and goal.
So,
defensively applying the pressure.
backside blitz from number one. He's going after the QB, and he misses
Oh,
it.
what a move!
Chased back.
Oh, that's dangerous!
Good pressure.
He gets away with it though, but wow,
that was lucky. Because who was that coming in, James?
It looked like number 27 of the Cheetahs defence, Charles Quincy, on the play. But he did the QB there did a great job to duck under the pressure from number one, and again managed to stay calm enough to get himself outside of the pocket.
So, continuing this boom or bust period of play for the Sussex Thunder offence brings up 3rd and 7.
You got the formation
Drops
into
back.
the boundary, more pressure. This time he gets dumped.
And there was just too much pressure from everywhere.
87 seems to have got a sack on the quarterback.
So that's Barney Aylett on the sack,
Barney.
a rookie and only been playing with the Cheetahs for a few months, but he's loved getting involved, and it's great to see him get his first sack here.
So 57 seconds.
Hertfordshire Cheetahs.
Currently leading 6-0. We're about to give the ball away on a punt.
And there's
Three returners back for
there's a
Cheetahs.
heavy backfield back here to return this ball. So I'm hoping to see some kind of misdirection or some sort of exciting return here.
It's number 39, Ricardo, back to return with 2 up backs. So 57 seconds remaining in the half.
4th down for the Sussex Thunder. We believe it will be a punt.
Good snap. away. It's a low ball, right? Number 2 refuses to catch it. And I mean, number 2's done his returner a disservice. He said you went to the wrong side, but you never ever push a guy and then leave him. You maintain contact.
Actually, it's been a bit of an issue in the game so far. A lot of the wide receiver blocking has been extremely aggressive, which can be a very good thing. But there's been a lot of impact blocking where you make one hit and you block them for about half a second.
And then they're free to go on
when
and make
they
a play.
recover a yard or 2 away from you, they've got the angle to slip you. We've seen a lot of that. None of the receivers are sticking like the targets to glue or using that sort of ooze blocking.
Contrast that with Sussex Thunder. We've seen their receivers maintaining blocks downfield for a long time. So inside zone right, bounces left. Picks up about 3 but gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
So that's number 32, Wellington, on the carry there. He's another new addition to the Cheetahs this year, coming over from Tamworth Phoenix.
So the slot number 8, he seems to be a big unit.
Quick
Screen
screen
underneath, and that's played beautifully by the Thunders.
Absolutely,
Thunders
yeah.
defense. Now we had number 8 who's coming as our inside slot. He was a really big unit, but is that telegraphing the fact you're going to try and exploit that screen game?
Well, I mean, he's played every snap. To be fair to him, he looks like a big player, but as we've seen, he's your prototypical tight end who is playing wide out because
similar to what we saw with the Pirates with a number 88.
Yeah. David Fallon.
He made me look foolish and made some terrific grabs as well as being a prolific blocker. So we going cover 3 or is it cover 2? Cover 2 still.
Great block from the quarterback, sending the crowd into a frenzy. Good run by the running back.
So timeout.
Has to be 4th and short, right?
Now here's the thing, Jonathan. It's 4th and short. Who took the time? It was on the end of the half.
Yeah, that's the half. The time
Okay,
expired
so that
on
brings
that.
the half to a close. Hertfordshire Cheetahs with 0. Sussex under 6.
That appears to be the end of the first half. The score still remains 6. Sussex Thunder.
Cheetahs getting the ball in the second half. We'll keep it close. It's a 1-score game at 6-0. James, just give us your final thoughts before we cut to Mick.
I think that the Cheetahs defence has done an excellent job after that first drive, keeping their team in this game. They'll look to their offence in the second half to bring them back into striking distance.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Sussex Thunder really need to cut out the mistakes. The Sussex Thunder, too much boom and bust, too many negative plays. They've managed to take up probably more impressive positive plays. We must cut out the negatives. Cheetahs, game plan's going fairly well. First drive looked brutal, but they've kind of cut the flow out of them. And we really want to see a little bit more consistency from the Cheetahs, get a score on the board and set this game alight. So thanks for being with us. We're just going to go to a quick break now, I believe. We'll be back in a few minutes.
was just a horrible day from start to finish. We genuinely just made too many mistakes again. We were short a couple of key players, and then made some mistakes. We were in the game at half time, but just let it get away from us in the second half. And it was things that we've worked on, but they're improvable. They're not things that we can't recover from, but we just need to do some work to recover them.
What are your thoughts going into next week's game?
So, as we've said after numerous games, we just need to cut down the amount of mistakes that we make. If we can play near mistake-free football and play tough football, and in fact just do what we had put in camp, then we have a great team and a great opportunity to continue to move the season on. But we've just got to get over from all these mental errors.
I'm here at St Albans. It's Hertfordshire 0, Sussex under 6. I'm with Craig Barnes, the head coach for the Hertfordshire Cheetahs. What's your thoughts, coach, on that first half?
Well, a little bit disappointing offensively. They've schemed well against us, and we're finding it a little bit difficult to run the ball. Defensively, we had a bit of a brain fade in the first quarter, which has let them in for a touchdown. But we know that it's going to be an attritional game. In the second half, I expect us to be much better.
You couldn't really get started, it seemed, on offence. It just seemed to be, slowly.
That's right. Yeah, we like to think of ourselves as an explosive strike offence, and there wasn't a lot of explosion going on there. Unfortunately, it got a bit bogged down. Thankfully, our defence got into it, and we had the nice interception by Lee Farmer, which gave us great field position. We would need to see more of that in the second half to keep us rolling, but I'm sure our offence will pick up as well.
I thought your defence played well. A couple of silly mistakes on special teams with the late hits on the fair catch. What do you think about that?
Yeah, rookies making rookie mistakes, unfortunately. You can tell them, but sometimes it just the heat of battle overtakes them.
Yeah, I think once is okay, but twice is maybe a little bit past your patience, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but I'd rather that than they just stand there and let them run with the ball. So they'll learn from that, I'm sure.
Of course. So plans for the second half?
Second half, execute better on offence, continue to harass the Sussex quarterback, and hopefully put some points on the board.
Okay, well, best of luck. Thanks for
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
thousands of businesses who have taken out a fast, affordable funding circle loan and helped your business fly.
Referees are out, there's a little warm-up about to start, but we're just going to have a look at some of the results and scores around the league. Obviously we've travelled down south today from up in Newcastle, and big shout out to the Northumberland Vikings, obviously rebounding from the East Kilbride game after a bye week, a huge 42-0 win over the Glasgow Tigers. Essentially run game was back on point, Johnny Umbayi scoring 2 rushing touchdowns behind an O-line that was apparently dominant all day. Defence scored 2 pick-6, and Coach O'Regan will be extremely happy about that. Up in the Prem North, we've got an absolute cracking game. Edinburgh Wolves 9, Manchester Titans 6. Really crazy game, really crazy scoreline. Could affect the entire division, top and bottom. 4th quarter, let's see if the Titans can pull anything out of the bag. Prem South, Kent Exiles, London Olympians tied up through 2. Blitz looking comfortable against the Aztecs early. EKP and Aberdeen doesn't look like it's even kicked off yet. NFC South, huge results for the pre-game favourites. Shropshire Revolution, big winners. Sandwell out ahead as well, 35 points in the 3rd quarter. Into this division, the Solent Thrashers continue their unbeaten season with a very strong showing so far against Portsmouth. Here we're at a 6-0 game, Sussex leading, and Berkshire are beating the Oxford Saints in the 3rd quarter. Going to the other division in SFC South, big win for the Bury Saints, and at half-time there's a bit of a close game between the Cats and the Hornets, 6-3 Cats at the minute. Okay, having a look across Div 2, big wins for Halton. Storm look like they're having a great performance against Furness in what's a kind of a local derby. Bulls looking strong against Lincolnshire Bombers, who've had quite a good season this year, so the Bulls will be really pleased with that. Humber Staffs is a close game in the 3rd. Close games across the rest of the south, apart from Swindon Storm 69-0. All the other games are close. Having a look at what these results mean. Well, Edinburgh Wolves, if they can hold, changes the Prem massively. Prem South, not much change, but the Kent Exiles result could swing either way. NFC North, well, it's really interesting, that game. That confirms playoffs for the Vikings, means the Rams aren't possible to make it. Apparently the Vikings have had a bit of a difficult week with one of the players, Paul Richardson, suspended, but they've done quite well so far to come out big winners and secure playoff victory. In the south, there's not really much change there. It's kind of as expected, and it looks like we're about ready to go to kick here. We had some microphone problems in the first half with a crackly mic. We have tried to switch the cables out, and we're trying to see if it will be better in this second half. I'm pleased to say that Craig has joined me back in the booth, well rested,
well hydrated.
Yeah, 4th half of football coming up in this blazing sun for us northern boys.
I know.
How are you holding up, and how's your suntan coming on?
I'm covered in SPF 30. And you can tell which bits I haven't put on originally because they've turned red, so now I'm double covered. All right.
There's a bit here and it's looking pretty rough. I went for the hat today, so hopefully I've missed the worst of it. Huge game, a huge half of football coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, we called it before the game. We said this has had every chance of becoming a very close game where fewest mistakes are going to win. And at the moment, it's 6-0. Cheetahs are going to get the ball back second half, so they have that extra possession. So this is going to be who blinks first, I'm afraid. Or is it going to come down to a great play, or is it going to come down to a missed assignment? I mean, James, what's the feeling on the Cheetahs sideline at the moment?
So I've just had a wander and a chat, and they're still full of confidence. No one's dropped their heads yet. They know that this game is definitely winnable, but they're just waiting for their time.
Yeah, and that's, it's a 6-0 game. We've had a huge bunch of yards gained, huge bunch of yards lost. Cheetahs will be looking for more big plays. The highest point of the half was immediately after number 40's interception. The sideline was boosted, the field position was good. Unfortunately, it didn't come off, but I'm really looking for this explosive Cheetahs defense to create some turnovers, some big plays. He got some sacks at the end of the half, and I'm really looking forward to this game opening up a little bit. Still just sort of working through some microphone issues, and Craig is just making sure that his forehead is adequately protected from the sun. And remember, everybody, moisturise and put your SPF on. Remember to self-care, drink plenty of water.
I just don't want to end up looking like that photograph on Gridiron Memes saying every Brit baller this weekend with sunburned arms and face and a white body.
Don't you mean Jonathan Rooney every Monday, regardless of whether football's on or not?
So here we go. It's playoff football for the Sussex Thunder. They have to win this to have any shot of getting into the playoffs. For the Cheetahs, win this means they've still got a chance of qualifying first place in the conference.
A good return there from Rodwell. He reaches about the 32-yard line. So the 37-yard line. Good return from a late pickup, really, and he exploded upfield. Thought he had a crease, but it was shut down by great pursuit.
1st and 10. Find out if the Cheetahs have got
36-yard line for the Cheetahs.
2-by-2 formation with Rodwell out to the field. Again, he's got space to exploit right up the right hash.
Looks left on the screen through the hands.
Double smoke screen. QB misses his first pass of the second half, and he just taps on the chest saying, "Hey guys, that's me, not you." Really interesting intent. You have the whole half time to think about it, and your first play is going lateral side to side. 2 smoke screens either way.
Run play, breaking apart, breaking away from Sussex players. Going towards a pile up now.
Really interesting in formation wise. H is back in at running back, but Adam is split out as left wide receiver. That brings
so we're now going hurry up as well, Jonathan.
Potential open field advantage if Adam catches the ball against any cornerback.
QB looks right. Gives it on the zone.
H with a great move in the backfield. Ooh, good play. He turned a -1 into a +4, and you've got to enjoy that.
Brings up 4th and short, but we're going to get the punt team out.
My fake punt sense is tingling again, though. This is kind of the thing. After the half, midfield, only 1 or 2 yards to pick up. Have we got anything in the box, James?
I wouldn't be so sure. I think the Cheetahs, they're going to trust their defence to keep the Sussex at bay, and they're not going to take any risks this early in the second half.
It's a good snap. That's a beautiful kick with a great chase. Fielded cleanly.
No fair catch signal, so he's going upfield. Brought down, gang tackled by the Cheetahs. Flag on the play.
Now number 24 for the Thunder just did a superb block. He managed to maintain it for 7 or 8 seconds after the ball was fielded. It's what we were talking about before this half. Seeing these blocks downfield and in special teams, the receivers, the Thunder seem to be maintaining their blocks, which is giving the ball carriers something to cut off. So a reasonable return being pushed back for personal foul, unnecessary roughness after the play was over against Thunder. It's the first time I've seen the Cheetahs office go no huddle, hurry up. Is that something you do much during the season or not?
Yeah, it's definitely key to our offense, especially on hot days like this.
Swing left.
Ooh, great tackle.
Is that the slot receiver there?
I think so. Hit made by number 27, Charles Quincy. That's safety. Yeah.
So we're calling that a tunnel screen, perhaps?
Just got a hot update from the Premiership North. Edinburgh Wolves have scored again to extend their lead from 9-6 to 17-6 over the Manchester Titans.
And Manchester
that kind
Titans.
of result will almost certainly lock up the division for the Phoenix and put a whole load of teams on watch for the drop with only 2 wins in the Prem North.
Yep. And also, what does it say about the Titans' playoff hopes? Oh, high snap!
The quarterback is being chased. Patrick Armstrong.
And is he in the end zone or not?
It's not a safety.
So the QB picked it up and tried to run, but he was running sideways and backwards. He was very fortunate not to get dragged down in the end zone.
And interestingly, with this attacking defense, great athletes on the Cheetahs, the QB might have preferred the safety at this point, because now they're going to have to snap the ball on what looks to be the sort of 6-8 inch line under huge amounts of pressure.
I'm sending everyone. I'm going to keep 3 deep and send everyone and say,
every single
can you?
time there's been a defensive play that you've called, you've been sending everyone, Craig. We get the message.
What can I say?
Number
So
1
57 steps up, goes deep.
And I like the intent. They're saying, hey, let's set a new club record for a pass here. Because like you say,
99.9 yard touchdown.
When people are sending everyone, when people are saying, I want the safety, I actually, I don't think the safety here is that bad. If you genuinely feel you can hold them. Okay,
because it takes a 6-point game to a 4-point game, and it doesn't really change anything.
You still win if they get a field goal. They have to score a touchdown.
So we have
if
fourth
they
down.
Score a touchdown, they get a 1-pointer to win the game.
Three backs
the
to
punter's
return.
got to watch his back feet anyway. Big chance of a block through pressure. Let's see if he gets this off clean. The punt unit has been
Good
great
snap.
so far. It is clean, and he has changed the field position.
Not too far though.
But this is definitely Hertfordshire's best starting field position since that interception. Okay, I think only the interception and this play they've started in the opposition half. So big moment for the Cheetahs here, just coming off the tempo drive, which had some good things, some bad things. Let's see if they can cut out the mistakes, punch it home and get a score here.
So they're lining up on the Thunder's 30-yard line. On the right hash. They do have a tailwind blowing slightly from their right to left. Spread formation.
Really
An interesting number 44 is quite narrow on the left.
And he's come out to the outside receiver after last drive he was in at the slot receiver.
And number 8.
Lovely little bit of quick game from the Cheetahs. Catch, throw, get the yards. That kind of extended handoff play. I'm really excited by this receiver set over here.
Once again, no huddle.
We know that number 80 and number 44 can move
So
quickly.
QB's paying
laterally.
attention on the left now. Yep, screen underneath, and that's really well read by the Thunder
Exceptionally
defense.
well played. I was thinking more there. I wanted to see something like Skinny with a speed out from this unit. 44 and 80. They look quick. They look like changing
I'm
direction,
going smash.
guys.
Smash to the slot. Throw in that corner. There's loads of space. Brings up 3rd and 11. Drops back, looks right. Throws the hitch. Throws it very high.
There's your smash, covered really well. Corner low. Safety ran out with a big number 8 at tight end.
Yeah, I'm going to defend myself there, Jonathan, by saying there was less real estate to defend there. I might not be right, but I've got to have some comeback.
What we're seeing over
so
here
4th
now,
and 11, and we're going for it, James. What do you think we might see?
We've got a number of options for this down and distance, but with the timeout called, I wonder if they're having another thought.
It's just that little far for the field goal, but you're too close to punt it, really.
I'd be keeping a close eye on the outside receivers, but maybe something cheeky underneath to number 30, Adam Adenji.
Yeah, all day in the junior game and in this game we saw loads of wide receiver screens going sideline to sideline, but we haven't seen any sort of R slip, we haven't seen any sort of R swing, we haven't seen that running back getting the ball in hands early outside of the box. Every single time the running backs had touches, it's been pounding it. I'd love to see someone like Adam in open field running at these DBs.
So we've got what looks like a 50 front, 52 box, cover 2. And maybe cover 4. Play action on the wheel. And probably number 29's probably lucky he didn't intercept that, because he would have given him dreadful field position. Jonathan, what have you just seen?
Yeah, so that looked like it was a wheel off the sort of smoke screen, which looked like a mirrored concept. And unfortunately, the QBs worked the field. But number 8 is a bigger athlete. He's a tight end looking guy who's spread out. On this left side of the field, 80 and 44 ran exactly the same pattern, and 80 didn't have anyone within 25, 30 yards of him at the end of the play.
Well, you could say that's down to the fact that the QB's eyes only went to the right and the safety slid over.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're looking at it after the play when guys have finished the pursuit angles.
Yeah.
But as a guy who looks quick.
Thunder get out of jail. They were backed up on their own less than half-yard line.
QB does very well to handle the high snap. Looked like it could have been an issue, but the running back is swallowed up by this Cheetahs defense anyway.
It's a quick conversation between starting left tackle number 68 for the Thunder and I believe number 51 after the snap, introducing themselves and congratulating each other on a good game of football, James.
Yeah, that's Jack Tripp there, 51, a former Royal Marine Commando. He will definitely be the type to get in your face and give you a good day of it.
Absolutely amazing scenes in Prem North. Game confirmed. Edinburgh Wolves win 17-6.
As picked by number 1.
Here we go. Okay, so we the master. You might be able to hear the master of ceremonies. He's hyped right now. Jordan Legg gets his interception. We talked about in pre-game. We talked about in the first half. We talked about the Cheetahs defense attacking, creating turnovers. The momentum in this game is swinging. Okay, you know the Cheetahs offense better than any of us, James. What are you going to here? Who are your standout players, and how are we getting this ball in the end zone?
I think we're going to just stick to what we do best. We're going to run power. We're going to put the ball in our hands of our playmakers. And with somebody like Adam Adeniji in the backfield, all it takes is one breakout run, and then we're straight back in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this formation, I'd love to see number 8 crack that outside linebacker. I'd love to see the slot receiver block Sean Lewis, who's been playing QB, and get Adam outside of the box. They go for the play action shot, and the cornerback plays it well. Number 29 has stood out all day.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been extremely physical blowing up the screens, and he's shown brilliant range on the deep
twice
ball.
They've tried that same route against him, and twice they've been lucky not to get a pick.
I really feel they can break the contain with cracking one of these outside linebackers.
The thing is, if you're going to test somebody one-on-one, you want to test one of the weaker defensive backs. 29's actually balling out today.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think, though, you can tell from the play calling that the offensive play caller is coming to the second half, trusting their defense. They're opening up the playbook a bit more. seeing if they can take some longer shots over the top. And an excellent.
What a move in the back.
And they. And just as I said, all it takes is one missed tackle, and there's Adam Adeniji in the end zone.
Now, there are multiple flags down on the play, but I believe this is
defensive.
I think they're all for horse collar, which will be declined. And Adam Adeniji has just changed the game. Was absolutely dead to rights in the backfield. One glide step, acceleration, big play from the right tackle. He turned his feet, cut off the pursuit. Adam did the rest down the sideline.
Just as James said, what's it going to take to change this game? It's going to change a breakout play from number 30.
They're talking to the Cheetahs. That usually means that it's going to be the option to decline it.
So James, you called it. He called it. A play in advance. 6-all. So here we go. The kicking unit is on. Is an extra point going to take the lead for the Cheetahs?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. James is one of extremely.
James has gone 100% on the prediction.
We've had a change of kickers since I've last seen the field goal unit. Axel Rodwell, receiver. He hit a few last week, but he also had one slight
I
bounce
spoke
off the
to
upright.
Axel a couple of years ago when Durham beat Hertfordshire in a quarter final, I think 2017. And he was
a poor snap, and it's blocked.
We are tied at 6-all, and I spoke to Axel. I was going to say he won't let that affect him either. He's a hyper confident, hyper sort of extroverted young man who came up to me, introduced himself, congratulated me on the way. You know, we've just knocked them out of the playoffs. But he came to find me and said, "Hey coach, I really respect that. You've played us straight up. My name's Axel, how are you doing?" And you know you love that. That's the type of guy you want in your team. And okay, he's just had a kick blocked, but he's going to come back and make another play.
Yes, and as a former receiver coach, he's exactly the right type of guy. He wants to be coached, but he's got that confidence too, which is so important at receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, in my career, there's been 1,000 opponents and 1,000 guys I've coached, and Axel's one of those people that has stood out over the time because of his outgoing nature, his politeness, his confidence, and it is the type of player that we love to see in Britball.
So we have, I believe the flag's been enforced on the kickoff. It's been a 15-yard penalty against the defence, probably for a horse collar. On the touchdown play, it was declined, but it's been enforced later.
Now, what's really interesting is they've got a nice bit of field to play with here. Have you got anything fancy here? Do they do a high hanging kick, James, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think that you could try and hang it up and get your hard hitters underneath it, see if you can force a fumble.
Do you onside kick it from here?
No, I don't think you do that because you're tied up and you want to pin them back. You've been winning the field position this half, which gave you the chance to strike. But maybe a chip somewhere. Oh no, we
just go percentage. Oh, some big hits. Number 26 laid a lick on number 20 there.
And that fits the MO, doesn't it?
Matt
Let's win the field position and get going.
So, after 2.5 quarters of football, we're tied. We said beforehand this could turn into a close game where teams neutralise each other, a broken tackle or a great individual effort. You said the difference on this offence could be number 30 breaking one. 2 plays later, he did exactly that. We're in for a ball game here.
Definitely, and I'm looking down onto the Cheetahs sideline. I can see fresh faces. That's one of the advantages of having a deep squad on a day like today. And with that touchdown just going in, I think the Cheetahs will be full of confidence and will look to take advantage of a Sussex team here.
Okay, so QB keep level. We have number 1 in at QB. That's the first time we've seen him today. Sean Lewis.
And we highlighted him pre-game as a game changer, and it's a really good time for Sussex. They're saying, hey, we're going to do something slightly different. I think with him playing middle linebacker, it would have been nice to slip him on at receiver or something, maybe pull something funky out the bag to really change the game, but they've just gone, hey, we're making the switch at Q. Our running back is going, our QB is going to be more purposeful, more direct, and he's coming right now.
So we talked about him pre-game. He can tuck the ball. He's got a good arm. He's working on it.
Last play, JJ chasing the quarterback. Yeah, JJ, quick!
Number 42 on the tackle.
Jackson of the Hartfordshire Cheetahs. Showing him how the D-line do it.
Huge sack here, and the Cheetahs' tails are up. The Master of Ceremonies has decided to go wild.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah.
We'll label him as enthusiastic, Jonathan.
It's not quite as bad as the junior game where the speed garage came out, but maybe.
It's my favourite type of garage.
It's the only type of garage.
It was the option of having him up here with you or me.
Yeah,
so you decide if you've been lucky or you've been let off.
He's only got one man to beat. Number one's going to get him, is he? And who makes the tackle?
He stops him from making a touchdown.
There we go. When it's on the line, number one races almost the entire length of the pitch and chases down the wide receiver to make the touchdown saving tackle.
And really exciting here. Pre-game, we talked to the Sussex Thunder head coach. He said that Sean Lewis can change the game in a blink of an eye, and we're absolutely seeing that right now. And he also said he wanted him to stay in the pocket longer and work his progression. And he did there. He was at his third read. He checked down with an accurate ball. And as we've seen, number 83, that kick returner type body, that guy who's speed in space, huge play. And if it wasn't for Jordan Legg, this game would be...
he just saved a touchdown. Okay. So number one goes on number one.
And this is going to be a battle now. We've got a quarter and a half left of football, and I think this is going to be it. 1 versus 1. There can be only one. I'm not even going to ask James because I know he's going to say Jordan. We're just going to hear and enjoy.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Jonathan, I'm going Mad Max.
Oh dang.
So I mean, the Cheetahs would love a stand here, or at least a 3-point limit.
I think the neutrals want to score though, don't they? Open this game out.
I want these teams to be put under pressure where they have to start opening things up. So pretty soft coverage. Drops back, looks left, throws the wheel.
One of those things where he's trying to paint the corners a little bit. He's trying to put it where only his receiver can get it, but it was way outside the pylon and came to nothing.
Cheetahs need to be careful on this near side of the pitch with the soft coverage shown by the safety that they're not beaten by a quick out.
We've seen what number 83 can do with a ball after he's caught. He's very, very elusive in the open field, but also strong. But the problem is, if you play him close, he's going to make a move and get away from you. Drops back. All kinds of time.
It's got to go down to drop. We hear from the sideline.
The Cheetahs were really lucky there. That quarterback had all times of time, and rather than taking off, he went through his read.
And maybe that's a negative of what the coach was focusing on this week of him going through his read. We saw the positives of him going through his read and taking the strike, but the pocket was so big, so wide. Could he have took off on that play?
But he did hit the receiver in his hands, so you know.
But again, it was number one on the tackle, saving the touchdown, and number one that stopped the momentum in the first play after.
Field goal attempt by Sussex. Pressure's on.
And that's good.
And it's good. So Sussex Thunder take the 9-6 lead.
So after 2 missed extra points giving us 6-0, a field goal takes the lead at 9-6 in a third quarter.
9 to Sussex Thunder. And it's 6 to Hertfordshire Cheetahs.
So you were talking about this game. You want to be the team that's in front by no matter how small a margin when the clock stops you winning. For the briefest of periods, we had parity in score, and Sussex Thunder have come down and immediately got a lead again.
They have, but 10 minutes ago they were 3 points, 6 points up. Now they're only 3 points up. If Hearts come and score and they get another field goal, Hearts will retain the lead. It's real interesting that
back to the house.
Hearts have shown they've got that big play, that breakaway speed. They've got to get Adam the ball even more.
Number 83.
And if they continue to trade touchdowns for field goals, they'll be happy. That ball's going to go out of bounds, and we're going to have the ball on the 40-yard line.
Should be a penalty with the offense standing in a generous field position.
So think about this game, Jonathan and James. It's now starting to become a game where the playmakers are influencing the game, whether that's the big breakout gain or the touchdown saving tackle. We're starting to see these higher echelon players stamp their authority on the game.
And also, you touched on it in the junior game with the Cambridgeshire Cats kind of finding it hard late on. You know, Vince Lombardi said it very poetically, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And it's this type of game where the big time players are going to show they're going to be a little bit fitter, a little bit faster, and those players that are a little bit more tired are going to have to start chasing shadows.
Yeah.
Interesting. You've got a number 5, Connor Wilson, usually a halfback checking in at the slot on the far side. And QB change.
Here we go again. Oh, he runs over one. Ran over number 21.
So number 17, Jacques Vitry of the Cheetahs, checks in as the second string QB.
And I believe you say second string QB because he's the second one on the field, but the Cheetahs genuinely have 3 guys that can play and interchange and have played all year, haven't they?
That's right. We've got Martin, a veteran who started this game. Jacques, first year, was with us last year, and also not kitted up today due to some personal reasons. But we've got Jake Barnes, who is ex-junior champion with the London Brit. And he's just grinding away for another 8 yards
Once again,
there.
he did a great cut, a read. He was patient, and then he exploded through with great violence.
And he pops up cool as day at the end as well, saying, there's no flies on me, there's no dust on me, I don't care, give me the ball again, let's go again.
Well, it's games like this you see who wants to play. I mean, the guy's saying, give me the ball, give me the coverage, make me the guy that's going to make the stop. And this is what you want.
And if it's Sussex O versus Hearts D, we're looking at 1 versus 1. Who's the Sussex Thunder that's going to bring his play up to number 30's level? I don't know if he's out there.
And the great thing about Adam is he's so unassuming. He'll walk off the pitch today and think, I've just done my job.
Adam's running through the field, finds himself a little gap, keeps moving his feet.
I mean, there you go again. He hit contact for a small loss and turned it into a 7 or 8 yard gain. Just force of personality, refusing to go down and driving.
And again, he had over 100 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns against Sussex the first time around. They've game planned to stop him, but still he's there grinding away.
Yeah, and with the big plays, probably close to 100 yards today. And I would love to see accurate stats on how many were after contact, because if he's got 100 yards today, I bet he's got 80 after contact.
Yeah.
You know, he's really making those mistakes more costly every time he touches the ball.
But the thing about the Cheetahs, and we'll just watch this play.
Great catch from behind, number 58, defensive lineman Michael Kikiowo.
Yep.
Apologies about the pronunciation.
And the thing about the Cheetahs, especially with Adam in the backfield, is they'll keep grinding and grinding. They'll draw every man into the box to stop him, and then they'll go over the top.
This front 5 of the Sussex Thunder defence are starting to look quite tired. They're sucking in big gasps of air. And it's interesting to see that the Cheetahs haven't gone to this no-huddle offence. The defensive line's starting to look like they're tiring for the Thunder.
You do have to manage your own guys' energy levels as well, and they went for a couple of really fast tempos. Maybe this drive they realise actually execution's the key here. If we
fumble!
Right on time as well, he picks it up, he's got the scoop, he's got
the big man's away! Number 8,
unbelievable
Danny Wallace.
play.
Also plays running back for Sussex Thunder, scoops it up and picks about another 14, 13 yards on the return.
Just as I say that maybe the tempo doesn't matter too much, because as long as the Cheetahs execute, they'll do well. They immediately drop a snap and put the ball on the floor, and the Sussex player has a huge sort of timing to pick that ball up, to escape up a channel and not only create a turnover but gain about 15 yards of field position.
So that was just a poor exchange there between the quarterback and the running back. We've got a new quarterback onto the field, a new running back, timing slightly different, and it's led to this turnover.
Yeah, I mean, this game continues to swing. So number 1 gives it number 20. And that is more like it from the Sussex Thunder offensive line. We had real movement of the defensive line going backwards. Number 20 didn't want to make a move. He put his head down.
If you pick that up on camera, but there was a huge cloud of dust after that. Against that
Number
stage
1
the
is down.
Is bone dry, and these O-line are scuffing it up.
Jordan Legg has to come off. He's got up under his own steam, but it seems to have taken a knock.
Referee's timeout.
Number 20, Dan Lucia, makes a great run, picks up about 7 yards.
Still second down and 4 to go for the Sussex Thunder.
Leg's a huge player to come out of the game at this because the Sussex Thunder have got great field position again.
Gives it right.
Huge keep.
QB keeps it.
Outside pressure, dive against quarterback.
We talked about it in the first half. Okay, there was this incredible backside pursuit which was really helping the Cheetahs out, and Kingston wasn't taking advantage of it. Sean's come in. Sean Lewis immediately pulls the football, turns the corner for a first down. Okay, all parts of the spread offense have to work to actually maximise it. If all you do is hand it off, you're going to have a tough day. If all you do is throw, you're going to have a tough day.
Yeah, gives it to number 20 again.
Great tackle by the Cheetahs defense who piled on the running back.
I mean, that's the thing though, Jonathan, you were talking about no negative plays. That wasn't a particularly explosive play, but they still picked up a couple of yards.
I know.
And that's just grinding down that front 7 or front 6 of the Cheetahs defense.
And it's a test. Zone right. Are you covering it? Oh, QB boot left. Okay, I'm going down the sideline. Now we're piercing you right up the middle with a zone. We're checking every single zone and every single space on the field and saying, are you still competently defending?
Now number 83, the right-hand receiver, scampered out the huddle quite quickly. Is he going to get the ball?
They called him over for something there.
Yeah, there you go. He's uncovered as well. Oh, that's a poor throw.
He is looking to take it right back to the house.
And once again, the Cheetahs
defense. There's a flag
defense
on the play after the turnover.
Once again, it's the Cheetahs defense keeping the Cheetahs in touch in this game. A huge play.
I mean, number 83 went vertical and the safety didn't pick him up, but I think the QB mishandled the ball.
Yeah, it looked like he lost the handle in his action because it came out nowhere near where he was aiming. Total flutter ball. Number 2 gets to go and play duck hunt, gets after it.
I'm not going to say I called it, gents, but the way that little number 83 scampered out of the huddle, you knew he was getting the ball.
And actually, you've mentioned it all day, and actually from both sides and both teams.
The keys.
The QBs are looking at the receivers pre-snap. The guys are getting out the huddle with a different cadence. They're standing in a different stance based on the play. And these are things that teams have to iron out if they want to be great. Both these teams are very, very good. And if they want to be great and take it to the next level, they've got to minimise these giveaways.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you go against a Premiership outfit who are well coached, and there will be, if you start to give away the play, it's going to be a long day for you in the Premiership.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You know, you're going to have to compete with a level of physicality from a lot of these teams, especially in the Southern Conference. Let's not mince words. The Warriors, level of physicality, the Blitz, level of physicality. If you're keying what the play is, you've literally got no hope.
And that makes Matt Smith's 4th interception in as many games.
So number 17 in at QB.
Loose on the handle again, and again you can see number 74 is remonstrating with the backfield, but the QB didn't get a clean handle on the snap.
Number 5, Connor Wilson, a new running back in.
And by the time he'd handed the ball off, he was already outside the guard's block. That guard had what we'd called before a big boy block. He's got a kind of a shade player one-on-one, and the player ran his shade extremely hard.
So we already seen number 5 subbed off, number 30 back in. Brings up 2nd and 15.
Adam Adeniji back in the backfield.
So we've got trips right to the narrow side.
Offense on the ball.
QB.
Snap it. They're going to make stuff happen.
Breaks the tackle.
Creates a gap.
It's a lot of work for not much gain. And
I mean, it broke a tackle in the backfield.
Quite interestingly, it didn't really look like this left side of the offensive line executed that play exactly right. The left guard pulled, fair enough, but it looked like the left tackle stepped to his left, allowing that inside-out pursuit to follow the puller. If he'd scoop inside, cut that guy, maybe Adam would have had a bit more time to set it up.
So it brings out another loss of yards on 2nd down, brings up 3rd and about 16. They're currently on their own 6-yard line, or in fact 4-yard line.
And the Thunder have got them exactly where they want, playing this extremely soft shell. They're just going to flow and tackle.
So Spike looks right, throws a hitch underneath, too high. Oh, Number 29 read it well. It was a very poorly delivered ball.
It was, yeah.
He's very fortunate that number 29 didn't hang on to that.
And that's the third pass today that's gone over to that side above the intended receiver.
And it's with the wind, but what it leaves us with is again a punter who's going to be under the shadow of his own goalposts. He's probably going to be 2 or 3 yards inside the back of the end zone. He's probably going to get his full distance and get it away, but any sort of fumble snap, any bad sort of long snap here, and we're in a whole load of trouble.
And we've already seen how dangerous 83 can be with ball in hand. And he's stood there back ready.
I was going to say that, James. It's a beautiful kick, but he's got time to... Oh, takes it a great bounce, but he fields it. Gets past number 29. He's still going.
He's still running. Oh, yeah, finally stopped dead by Matt Lake on the 40-yard line.
We got a couple players down.
Bodies everywhere because that is...
Both teams were committing to the physical aspect there. There were some big hits going in, James.
I have no idea how he managed to stay on his feet for that long. I thought for sure he'd been wrapped up over that far side of the field, and he managed to reverse the field and make another missed tackle.
Huge play receiving the ball at midfield with a lead.
So the thing is now, though, fourth quarter. Thing is now he's got to take a break. So you've lost one of your big playmakers for the first part of the drive.
It's lined up quite nicely with the fourth quarter. As long as he's not hurt, he should be able to recover. Is that him lay on the floor?
Yeah, that's him laying on the floor, sucking in air as fast as he can.
So number 1's back out there for the Cheetahs. Obviously didn't take too hard a knock.
Surprised me how tall he was. I walked past him as I went to the clubhouse at half time, and he's a good 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's
Unless he has
deceptive.
super long cleats on.
And the thing about Jordan is he is deceptively fast, as we saw on that recovery tackle. A lot of time offenses don't quite acknowledge how fast he is, and he's over there to make the play.
Expect the Cheetahs to go after the quarterback now in this quarters. Things start to get a little dire.
James, are any of the players at this club playing at a representative level? Certainly look like there are some people capable of making the GB squad here today.
I wouldn't be able to tell you right of this moment. Apart from one, I will give a shout out to number 76, Yasmin, who is currently off the field, but an offensive lineman, or linewoman, I should say, representing Great Britain in the WECs.
QB keep right on a lead block. Find some space.
Running the football all by himself, he is brought down.
Picks up 25 on the play. He is explosive. I mean, he can get up to speed in a hurry.
Dangerous.
Jordan Legg.
But apart from that, we've had players represent Great Britain students. Before we've had our Stuart Butcher, our offensive guard.
The Cheetahs need to be careful here because they're only 3 points behind at the moment, but they cannot afford to let in a score in the fourth quarter and go 2 scores down. They've really struggled to put points on the game.
And with number 1 coming in with fresh legs for Sussex, he's looking very dangerous at the moment.
First down for the Sussex Thunders. Snap, hand off to the running back.
And you can see they've got the tails up a little bit. Number 20, very purposeful, no bounce. I'm just going to jump over this pile and pick up 3 or 4 yards.
And run the clock down.
Absolutely, yeah. Could be on a last shot game here. Okay,
just trying to bring those middle backers up. Maybe try pop something over the top of them. I've seen this air raid offense has gone very run heavy recently.
A long time coming out the huddle here.
I think the Cheetahs linebackers need to be careful not to be sucked into the play action now.
Okay, rolls left, it's QB keep. Follows number 20.
Jordan sees him right off the field.
Picks up a decent game.
And you see at that point the fullback or the running back just lead blocking against Jordan there. Just reaches out and pushes him into the tackle. He's got to do a better job of clamping on, running through the contact, perhaps even trying to cut him. And I know cutting's difficult with the new rule changes. He's got to get him bang to rights, 10 to 2, enter in the front. But it looks like they could have done it.
So we picked up a first down off that gain.
Thunder look like they want to talk about it, and they're going to have a timeout here.
So it's fourth quarter. Ball's currently placed on the Hertfordshire Cheetahs 29-yard line. Fresh set of downs for Sussex Thunder.
And here you can see 2 new linemen coming in, as I was saying before. Brilliant to have fresh legs this late into the game. Number 99, Pat Armstrong, looking to make an impact. Brilliant edge rusher. He'll be looking to get around that edge and
perhaps clamp down on these QB sweeps.
that's it. Force him to step up into the big boys in the middle. 16's coming over for Sussex.
Yeah.
Looks like another change of QB.
It's quite interesting that, because the initial timeout looked like it was going to be called from Sean from the huddle, so maybe he's just pulled up, tweaked something and wants it checked out before he comes back, because he signalled the timeout on field and now they've made a QB change. Can anybody see Sean on the far sideline?
Yeah. First down for the Sussex Thunders. Cheers, defense back on the ball.
Drops back, looks right. It's going
Oh, it's a great
downtown.
ball.
Number 1 is there. Oh!
Been seen out by the DB.
Wow, great ball. Threw the ball into the grass in the field. Just comes up half an inch too short when he lays out for it. Unbelievable attempt to attack the space and really say to the Cheetahs, you've got to lighten this box a little bit, and we're now going to come and pound it again.
So unfortunately we have the intended receivers had to go off. They landed pretty heavily on, I think, his right elbow or wrist.
And an excellent recovery by Jordan at number 1. I thought for sure they were going to get behind him, but he was quick enough to get back and interfere enough to disrupt the play.
So interestingly, Sean Lewis went immediately to the bench and took his helmet off. He has just stepped off the bench, strapped his helmet on, buckled it up again, and he stood right next to the coach.
So number 83 coming back on as well. Tom
Sussex.
Kelly's back in the game.
Sussex will be loving this drive, eating up the clock, moving the ball methodically.
Still out of short for the Sussex Thunders offense. Cheetahs hoping to see them through, see them out.
So number 13 and number 83 scamper over to the right hand side. So give up the middle.
Oh, so run play rather.
Excellent tackle in the middle there by Joel.
That will bring it 4th down with a bit to go.
So the ball's probably going to be spotted on about the 23-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like about 4th and 3.5.
So a
maybe.
field goal, the ball would be spotted. He'd need to kick it 40 yards with a 7-yard
Lewis
snap.
is trotting back onto the field. Eber Kingston has left the field of play. Looks like they're going for it. I like this call. 3 points up. Time going down, you convert here and you are feeling really good. If you fail here, you've still got a long field to defend.
Yeah, you got great
QB
field position
keeper.
either way.
Potentially, or
Play
something
action.
Like, if they've got it in the arsenal, him keeping it and then doing a pop pass or something. There's no middle of the field help.
Let's keep, QB keep.
Oh, he's stuffed in the middle.
He's stuffed.
That
Looks
is,
like he's got enough.
It appears as though that might be short.
we'll need to see where forward progress was.
This linesman on this side is on the yard line. He's on the 20-yard line. If it's his spot, it looks like it'll be it.
I think it'll be short because he needs to get about a third of a yard beyond that line.
They've spotted it on the line. It's going to be short.
That's
It's
going to be a
first down
turnover on
Hertfordshire.
downs.
There might be some measurement.
So just when they needed it, this Cheetahs defense has made a crucial stop.
Absolutely, and it was just a bit too linear from the Thunder. We all felt that Sean Lewis was going to get the ball, and he got the ball going up the B gap, playing into the Hearts' real strength. If he'd done that and jumped up and done a little pop pass over the top, something different, gone for a rollout, and everyone's thinking it's that QB stretch, but then he throws the ball, something different. QB stretch right, reverse left to 83. Something will misdirection and build into that key of we must stop Sean Lewis. You have a big chance, but you're just going straight, direct, linear. Cheetahs absolutely stone it dead.
So,
Make more magic happen.
I mean, when you look back on this game, both teams have had opportunities to win it.
Jack Victory hands off the football.
It's a really interesting comparison. How are you feeling about these teams versus the northern teams we've seen this year? Because this is the equivalent. These are sort of the equivalent teams of Vikings, Rams, East Kilbride.
On the one hand, it's quite difficult to tell because these two teams are so evenly matched.
Yes, I agree with that.
They're evenly matched in virtually everything. They run similar schemes. Their lines look similar, ability, etc. They've both got an even number of playmakers. But I would say, even though they're winning, the Sussex Thunder don't seem to have a playmaker on defence, but maybe they're just slightly better on average. It's a difficult one to call. So play action, throws the bubble.
I've definitely been impressed with both of the teams' offensive lines and defensive lines. I think I give the edge to these teams down here than the northern teams on size. I know because I've been around the guys so much how gritty those northern guys are, and they play a bit bigger. From what I've seen, you know.
What sort of weather are they going to be playing in? Are they going to be playing in lovely southern sunshine, or is it going to be horizontal sleet?
Well, I think the final's in London this year, so probably a lot of sunshine. But you know what? The Vikings have got 4 starting wide receivers that I think would all start for either side. Unbelievable.
Once again, number 30 picks up a first down, basically carrying this Cheetahs offense on his back. I mean, he's been hit in the backfield and refusing to go down. He's making yards after contact. Absolutely amazing effort today.
Yeah, unbelievable carry. I think I was going back to what I was saying. I think the Vikings wide receivers would all start for either side. Really, really good guys, dedicated to the craft, great shape. East Kilbride have got some wonderful defensive ends and linebackers.
Nice offensive line.
Good, hard running back.
I think it'd be close games.
I think they'd be great games, yeah.
I think another interesting comparison would be our conference here against the other Southern Conference with the likes of the Cats and the Hornets.
They've had a lot of lopsided results, haven't they? They've had some big wins, and we see that in the north as well, because up in the north you've got the Rams playing great defense, struggling at times on O, but they play great defense. You've got East Kilbride, who are good, competent on offense, really professional, and have a great defense. You've got the Vikings, who've got a great defense and a hit and miss on O. When they're on it, they're unstoppable. When they're off it, they're a bit, hit and miss. But over in the south, you've got Sandwell just pasting everybody. From what I can see so far, I get the feeling that maybe Sandwell are the best team in Division 1 at the minute. But the difficulty they're going to face is they aren't playing competitive games like this. They're steamrolling everyone by 40 points. Whereas these hard hours in your craft, in the heat, game on the line, 1-score games where you're nervous and you're stressed, these are the ones that this is what playoff football is.
Also, as well, it's very difficult on tape after a walkover win to actually identify stuff you can improve on. If you've beaten a team 50-0, you look at the tape afterwards and there's not much you can take from it. A close game like this, the coaches will be rubbing their hands thinking there's so much we can improve on.
I think this is a pivotal play, 3rd and long on the 4th quarter.
Let's go for the wheel.
Oh! Bounced off the hands of Bradley Clark.
I mean, the ball was bobbling. It wasn't the tightest of spirals, but it hit him on the hands on that wheel again.
The receiver did have to adjust to it, and okay, we say you hit him in the hands, but you hit him into the hands because he had great athletic poise to set his feet. If that's thrown in stride, we're looking at, maybe the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, the coverage was blown there. The guy bit as he went outside on that wheel, and then once he turned upfield, there was nobody there. So number 83 back to return again. It's nearly blocked.
It's held up in the air.
High left. And that is a very poor kick. It only gains about 14 or 13 yards. It's going to give the Thunder decent field possession inside the Cheetahs half.
So once again, the Cheetahs will look to their defense to make a stop and potentially get back and find a way to win this game.
So Jonathan, it may only be 3 points, but the Thunder are still in the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said earlier about basketball, it's last shot mentality. The team that holds the ball as time expires is probably going to win this game, and if the Thunder can take another 4 or 5 minutes off the clock, even if they don't score, they're feeling good.
So QB looks left initially. He's looking at number 83. No, he's going right. So he looks right and tries to. So So that's the first time I've seen the QB look both ways intently before the snap, and he actually tried to look the safety off by looking right and then coming back left, but because he spotted the target late, his ball delivery was pretty poor.
It's interesting, given their field position, their advantage in points, I would expect Thunder to come out and run the ball and try and grind down the clock.
Yeah, but look who they got back in QB. This is air raid offense. They've got a primarily throwing.
They haven't got much change out of this Cheetahs front either.
Those. I mean, that was a nice ball delivery by number 16. It would have picked up close to first down, but number 6 couldn't quite hold on to it. Number 5. Number 6, Steely J. Wills. That's a great name.
Great football.
Steely J. Wills. You've got to get him the ball.
Yeah.
On a touchdown, Steely J. Wills. High snap, looks left.
Pass from the quarterback.
Sits in. Took a bit of a pop.
Fourth down. Players of Cheetahs will be getting the football.
Really interesting from the officials there. That contact in the junior game would 100% have been personal foul, roughing the passer. But obviously here in the men's game, it's kind of allowed to go. It's quite nice to see.
2 steps.
2 steps, yeah.
In the
youth game, if you touched him after he'd let go of it, there was 3 or 4 personal fouls.
But at that point, I mean, the game was over.
Oh no, I agree, and I actually think it's a nice thing that they're saying, hey, this is the men's game with a game on the line. We're going to let you play a little bit more.
Number 16 was tough. He stood in there. He knew he was going to get hit, and he still delivered the ball.
Bit of a disaster drive that from the Sussex Thunder though. Almost 0 time taken off the clock. Great field position turned into effectively touchback field position. No, they're on the 30, so nothing real gain there. And they've given Cheetahs the ball back with plenty of time to go and win this game. Be really interesting to get a time check.
Offense looks like they will be taking the ball from 25, despite my initial ruling of 10.
How long's left?
Cheetahs on the ball looking to score in this quarter.
So Sussex is starting to gamble a little. They've got everybody on the line of scrimmage and too high.
Offense on the ball.
It's picked by number 46.
They need to be stopped by Cheetahs, and it appears as such.
Number 46, Michael Gums.
And we've got extras here, and I think it's going to go on Cheetahs 50 or 56. Big dude handing over with the white gloves, 50. And there's a bit too much afters in that, and if this is it, they're going to have a first down on about the 3.5 yard line. It looks huge moment for the Thunder to seal this game.
So interesting, the Sussex Thunder showed basically all of their linebackers full house blitz, but on the snap they dropped 2 back into zone coverage, and it was their right inside linebacker dropped back into zone and picked it.
This time we have to we talked about the great flexibility of the Cheetahs, but we do have to ask the question, has the QB switch worked out? The passing game has kind of not been there.
Well, I mean, in
They've
terms
thrown
of
an
points,
interception. They had a key fumble of the QB center exchange to kill a drive. All that's happened since the QB change, and in this game it doesn't really look like it's worked in their favour.
So it's 1st and goal from the 5 yard line. Cheetahs need a miracle here. Number 1's back in at QB, number 20 in at running back. Expect them to see them run the ball a couple times, test out this defense.
QB keeper, and he's in.
And he is across.
And that's a 9-point lead already. So now we have a 2-score game, 9-point lead. Now, it's really interesting. Game 1 between these guys was 28-21. So not only is there a 9-point lead, the head-to-head's currently in Sussex Thunder's favour, because they're going to need some help to get in. If they finish the season 7-3, okay, right now Hertfordshire are looking at being 5-2, possibly going to lose to the Thrashers, maybe not. That game's going to be huge last game of the season.
And the kick's
add
good.
the extras to get 1 extra point in their advantage. And
So they're currently leading in the head-to-head now by virtue of the fact they've got the greater points total.
Lead the head-to-head. Wow, what a game, what a score, what an interception.
So as one of the coaches here on the Cheetahs sideline, this is the thing you can be saying to this team. If you can bring this into under 7 points lead, this could win us the head-to-head, which could be the difference, getting into playoff football or not.
Yeah, absolutely. But even kicking a field goal, because they got the extra point, kicking a field goal only takes it to a 7-point gap, which
would be
ties
tied.
the head-to-head. And then I've got no idea
I
what
think
happens.
then it would probably go to average points conceded.
Which before
I know the
the
Cheetahs
game,
have. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I said Cheetahs have scored quite a few more points against other opponents.
It's conceded.
Whereas
Well, they do have the lead. I think it was 13.5 to 15.5 average before this game. But obviously this game's going to change the averages a little bit both ways.
only conceding 10 points to Solent in a very close game was pivotal, maybe, them for the
Jordan
Cheetahs.
Legg is back.
So let's talk about our playmakers. Number one, Jordan Legg's back.
And that's a great
touchback.
kick for the Thunder. When you take the lead, when you extend the lead, as a head coach, one of the things you're really looking for is your kickoff team to go out and execute, and a booming, thunderous kick, touchback, and 80 yards to the defend. The Thunder are going to be feeling great right now.
And it looks like Martin Brown, number 13, is coming back into the game for Jacques Vitry after a couple of stalled drives.
So we talked about that earlier. You know, has this QB change really paid off, and is it too little too late now?
I know you were saying about what would the coaches be saying on the sideline. They'd be saying, how are we going to win this game? I'm sure they're still full of confidence. This might be the move that they need to do. And he's swallowed up there by the Sussex D.
And you noticed on that play, Adam didn't get the chance to get to the line to make one cut. He had to bounce really early because there was early pressure, and unfortunately, that bounce early.
There was too much pressure from the defensive line.
It was that immediate pressure that took him off path.
Defense on the field. Trying to see how this Hertfordshire offense running the football, running hard.
The Thunder are playing an interesting defensive concept here. They've only got a cover 2 safety over the left slot, and he's very deep. It's like they're kind of tempting them to throw the ball to him. He said, look, we're going to play really soft. Are you going to exploit it or not?
Third and long for the Hertfordshire offense.
I'll be disappointed with that because that looked quite well blocked by number 80 right into that bubble, and now we're 4th and 12, and you just see on the sideline a couple of people's heads shaking now.
And they still think there's long enough in this game to get a score, maybe get a turnover. They're going to punt and play field position, but I mean, how much longer can they play the field position game until they switch into we have to score?
I think Sussex have been really successful in stopping the run for the most part and forcing the Cheetahs to pass.
The punt from the Hertfordshire Cheetahs again, set up into the air. Sussex are returning it back from number 24. He's making his way upfield. Needs to be stopped, needs to make tackle. He's brought down by the...
Brilliant return there.
Number 24, Neville Reid, who was one of the up-backs, took it cleanly, picked up a great block on the outside, scampered down the sideline and picked up yards in contact.
And it's really interesting to see Sussex Thunder have brought the pressure on the punt every time, and number 8 has been a free rusher, and every single time he's been close to the block point and just put his hands up and let the ball go. He needs to lay out and make a play, you know. I mean, he doesn't because his team's winning. But all game he had the shot to block those punts, and he's just not really going with the right technique.
So a very tall receiver, number 13, lining up wide left. Is that a matchup against number 4?
Kingston back in at QB.
Maybe look for the fade on the outside.
Number 13, DJ Surgington. No.
Tackled, brought down by the line of scrimmage. Nope.
Well, keeps the clock running. And 9.
So it's DJ Surgington, the Surge Media guy. who does the highlights?
No.
No?
I think it's about different.
Unfortunately, we've got a Thunder player down and looks like an offensive lineman. I know they've been hit with injuries recently at the offensive line. Their offensive line as a whole has played fairly well today. They've limited huge negative plays. Most of the negative plays have been kind of
Fumbled exchanges
or 5-yard penalties, false starts, that type of thing.
It's funny, both of these teams, when I spoke to the head coaches and talked about the potential of becoming Premiership clubs, both have talked about the absolute necessity to have strength and depth at the offensive line position. You know, so perhaps that's why they're doing so well, that these coaches recognise how important your offensive line unit is if you're going to be successful as a team.
Two of our brilliant coaches, we've got Coach Begbie and Coach Cullerton, both offensive line coaches. You can see them addressing their unit down there. They've been in the game of Britball for a combined total of close to 50 years, and they bring such insight to our unit. And
so I'm not sure if that's number 20, the running back Dan DeLucia, who's coming off. Yeah, I think that's the starting running back, number 20, who's gone off, number 2. So we're under centre, single back.
To go for the Sussex Thunder's offense.
Pitch left.
Appears to be a run play, being chased down by a wall of black. And the Cheetahs defense appears to have.
Now, Jonathan, I know what you're going to say here. They motioned to the side, they ran the ball. They didn't get an effective block off the guy they motioned. Why are they doing that?
It's just a complete misnomer, really, from the coaches, where they think, oh, I'm bringing an extra blocker, but you bring an extra defender, and actually the whole lane gets busier, less space to exploit. Number 2 looks extremely athletic. He looks a little bit slimmer than the starting back. Looks like the type of player you want in space.
Yeah.
So why would you crowd the block point with extra players? Especially when the Cheetahs have flown around and been very physical at the point of attack. It's been a big key for me, and I've got to say I don't like it. Unfortunately, Cheetahs players down now. This
looks
heat,
like
the
cramp.
length of the game is taking its toll. But it's a real difficult situation because they are 3rd and goal at about the 3. They're up by 10 at the minute.
They're up by 10 at the moment. Kicking a field goal is not much use. It'll only take them to 13, which is still. So they've got 2 downs to score. You know they've got a ground game. They've gone under centre.
And actually, kicking a field goal is one of the ways they could lose the game.
Yeah.
Not the game, but they're currently 10 points up. If you go 13 points up, kick the field goal, concede the kick return, concede 2 points.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you've lost your head-to-head that you were winning. And, you know, it's one of these things where time off the clock, possession and a long field to defend might actually be better.
So we're back into shotgun formation.
Hertfordshire Cheetahs looking to get the ball back.
If you look at number 13 and number 6 on the left-hand side,
Again,
some
last
sort of
snap-
post corner.
Last snap 16 was under centre for what gain? Now he's back in the gun. All it's doing is varying the techniques that your centre needs to learn and be comfortable with. It is a great snap though.
Go for it, passes the ball.
Number 16 holds on to it, but I don't think he broke the line. And it's a
Touchdown.
touchdown.
And that is going to be the game and going to be the head-to-head.
The Sussex Thunder currently has by 6 points.
So I called post corner, but they ran 2 quick outs. Versus man coverage. It's a great grab.
And now the Cheetahs really have to be thinking about who's next on the schedule, James?
so it's Berkshire next week.
Berkshire next week, which
Again at home.
if we're going to form, should be a strong, a chance to put on a strong win and get your heads back up.
And and then the final game against Solent.
Okay, so that's a huge one you have to be ready for, isn't it? 10-0 the first game against Solent.
Yeah, close.
Easily
cagey
reversible.
game.
And is that at Solent or here?
That was here.
So you're going to travel to Solent.
We're going over there, yep.
Now, how would you rate today's performance compared to the performance when they played Solent last time?
It's similar. I think that our defence have played exceptionally in both games, and there's only so much they can bend until they break. And I think what we really needed to see was more movement from our offence to keep the defence off the field a bit longer, keep them fresher.
We talked about it in pre-game right at the start of the day, saying that both of these teams are talented and athletic, but a little bit more hit and miss than the Thrashers. So far, the Thrashers have been super consistent, brilliant O-line play, always running the football consistently well, and there's been a little bit more variance in the play from the Cheetahs. I think the potential to be better is there. It's about getting it right, executing and realising that potential.
And I think one of the things that the Sussex Thunder are going to be really pleased with is how many penalties they've given away. They've hardly given away any penalties, whereas in previous games that's what was holding them back.
And you can see what that means to the sideline. Almost greeted with cheers like you'll see at the full-time whistle. They enjoyed that play. Always a gamble to kick the ball deep to a returner, and they swallowed him up nice and easily.
So Thunder now sitting on a 17-point lead late in the fourth quarter.
Our Master of Ceremonies has just given some advice as well. Don't worry, it's only 2 interceptions and you're back in it.
If you can get 8 points off one touchdown and 9 off another.
Yeah. And I don't even know how it works because we've got the ball.
And a safety.
Got the ball. Doesn't look like Sussex are going to change their style though. They look like they're bringing the house. Maybe some will drop out, but here comes the pressure.
So they send 5. Goes downtown, and that's a miscommunication. Both the left-hand receivers ran different length slants.
Yeah, and it was nowhere near. And actually, there's the first time today that the ball's really jumped out the QB's hand. A few of those early wheels, a few of those early fades. If the ball jumped out of there like on that ball, we would have had a whole different ball game. But that one, the ball really accelerated out of his hand, long way past midfield, but there was no receiver anywhere near.
Second down by the offense. They're going to keep fighting in this game. A lot of time left.
Drops back again.
Blocking up front. Block. Great block by
really interestingly, we said we hadn't seen one all day, but there was the running back slip screen. QB just couldn't find an angle, and the Sussex Thunder D lineman did a great job to stay patient.
Number 70, Steve Probert there, bats the pass down, brings up 3rd and 10.
We've seen that play go for touchdowns previously this season, but maybe that was the way that they were hoping to get it down into the end zone, but no luck there.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it maybe half an hour ago. It is the right sort of play call to try and break this game open, but leaving it to this late in the game with a scoreline at this is a bit of a missed opportunity, I feel.
Great pass there.
Nice pass, nice completion. We have a first down.
Our team still competing to win this game.
Is that number 92?
By the Sussex D so far. Keeping the Cheetahs, not making it easy.
Number 82, Craig Edmonds on the grab. Moves the chains, stops the clock momentarily.
So still quite a little bit of time to go, but guys, you've got to start thinking about your MVPs. You know, how are we lining up? Who's led the teams? Who's been the best player on the field?
Well, just in our shot there, I don't know whether he's worthy of MVP, but certainly number 29 has been playing a passing offense, and they've not done anything on his side of the field, and he's looked dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Great performance. Lockdown corner. He's had an interception as well. He's been involved in big blocks on special
Sussex
teams.
Thunder number 1's now playing outside linebacker or nickel back. He's also played quarterback. And
I think in the MVP shout, Adam has been absolutely everything for the Cheetahs offense. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, number 1, Jordan
number
Legg.
One has been everywhere on defense, and I really kept this game close.
An 83 from Sussex.
Yeah, 83 broke the game open a couple of times.
I mean, the thing with Sussex is their defence has played as a unit. There's not been a standout, but they've limited this decent offence to only 6 points. So, the unit itself hasn't showed weakness.
Oh, Axel Rodwell reaching up with a grab. Gets out of bounds. It's spotted short of the first down, which is looks a bit mean, but.
So brings up 4th and inches. So number 32 breaks the tackle and picks up the first down.
Receives a big hit from Michael Kay from the D-line again. He's getting there and laying a body on it, but it is enough for the first down.
Number 83's had some good returns for Thunder. That first touchdown. Great run after the catch in the third quarter.
Another interesting element we mentioned earlier, just getting the ball in the running back's hands outside. Didn't work quite as well because the Sussex Thunder, brilliant pursuit from the DBs, physical at the block destruction, pursued really hard. Here we go, 2-minute warning, and the Cheetahs are looking for a score here. Do you have the actual score in your head?
Well, I know it's a 17-point game and the Cheetahs have scored 6, so all you need to do is add 17 to 6. But I've embarrassed myself like this
23
many times, so I'm not even going to attempt it.
Okay, so we think it's 23-6. So even an 8-point score here keeps Sussex Thunder with a head-to-head record.
It would be great to see one final score though, especially for this huge crowd that have come out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, we've said it multiple times, but I'm really impressed with the club as a whole. The facilities, the day, the setup, the crowd. Everyone's come out and supported today. It's been an absolutely brilliant day of football.
So sending 5, number 1 through, tackles in the backfield.
Wow.
Sean Lewis makes the stop. So Sean Lewis has been in charge in a couple of those scoring drives for Sussex Thunder.
Definitely a different proposition when he's in, isn't it? Changes the way you play slightly.
1 minute 58 left. Timeout called by Hertfordshire Cheetahs.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, Jonathan. You've got this air raid offense, but you bring in a running quarterback, and you've now got 7 men in the box versus 6.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to run it.
No, absolutely. And it's really interesting. You talk about the area, but I haven't seen, the big staples. I've not seen mesh today. I've not seen 4 verts. I haven't seen much Y stick. So it's one of these kind of principled.
I'm sure we've seen it once, but you try to call it a slant. I'm calling that play a stick.
Okay, we'll give you that one, but still, it's not many. These are plays that you normally see 20,
it's my favorite
15
play.
times a game.
Screen underneath.
Okay, big staple of the air raid are the sort of Liz and Rip quick screens going both sides, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously the air raid is kind of a mindset and a way of practicing as well as a strict scheme.
Interesting, he brings up 4th and 8.
Adams back in the backfield, which is good. There's 1 minute 40 in the game. It's now so windy.
If we can get a score here, we get
on its own.
If we can get a score here, Jonathan, we might see some onside shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean there is
always a good watch.
But if they can't pick up the 6-7 yards that they need,
it's a kneel.
Then that's a kneel, yeah, and the game will be well and truly over.
Trips right. Linebacker's already dropping deep. I think they're just going to try and stop the score, run the clock down. I mean, he tried to run a double move on there. Why didn't he just break straight down the sideline? Number 82 did an out and up.
He was always looking over the wrong shoulder, had to adjust. The ball was too high.
It's because he did a double move. Why don't you just do a fade down the sideline? If you're going to try and stretch the defense, stretch the defense.
But as you alluded to pre-snap, the defence was so backed off in a prevents kind of look that almost giving up the first down there didn't really matter. They weren't getting beat over the top yet. The Cheetahs played right into their hands. Looks like a spread formation. We've got about 1 minute 30 left in the game. I think there's still 2 timeouts, so they may run a few plays to get these timeouts out.
Just inside zone. There you go. Number 34 spins.
Good stop by the Hertfordshire defence. Still showing there's a lot to fight for in this game.
Real mixed approach on what the advice was to the running back there. One person was screaming, get down, you know, to play safe and keep the ball. Someone else was like, stay on your feet, run the clock out. 1:26, second down. We should be able to kind of kneel this out.
Do they go under centre and take a knee?
It depends whatever they've practiced. I personally don't.
Just because you run shotgun exclusively?
If you run shotgun and you practice your shotgun 10,000 snaps a year, you know, why would you do something where you only practice it 100 times when the game's on the line? But, you know, if they've practiced it, then they'll do it that way. But maybe they run one more play here.
So who have we got in a quarterback, number 16 again? Play safe, hand the ball off.
So we've got to make a final decision on MVP. Should we, in the spirit of Brexit and democracy, just say who we think and go with it?
I'm not sure I've picked one yet.
Okay.
I have.
Go on then, give me your number.
It's going to go for Sussex Thunder, number 83. He has made plays that have changed the game.
James?
I agree. Yeah, I said before, he broke this game open with a couple of darting runs. Yeah, definitely a stand-up player.
Yeah, everything
Tom Kelly.
Everything you've said has been absolutely true. I was going to go with number 29, the standout, the kind of defensive cornerback, Matt Reed.
He's had a great game.
But as you say, number 83, Tom Kelly, will be our MVP.
By 63, Joe J. He's still playing the game, still chasing the quarterback. It is 4th and long with a chance of Cheetahs back in the football.
So congratulations to our game MVP, Tom Kelly, number 83. Huge explosive plays, broke the game open for the first score, the only score in the first half. Gave Sussex Thunder the lead and that comfortable feeling for a long, long time. Has continued to change the game with big returns, big plays. Our MVP, Tom Kelly, number 83.
So brings up 4th down. Still enough time for Thunder. They'll have to punt. Back to return. The Cheetahs, number 1. And number 2, Jordan Legg and Matt Smith.
4th down for the Sussex Thunder.
I'm not sure they're going to have to actually... Well, I'm not sure what's going on.
Looks like they're coming over to...
3 seconds, so we
just
should
run around and take an
we
A.
should really have punter run around, kneel down, but we'll see if that's in something they've worked on.
I mean, that's something I could do, Jonathan. I'm very good at running away when things are dangerous.
Craig the Flopper Lenehan. No, you're not enjoying that one?
Nah.
Craig the runaround Lenehan gives them the runaround. Oh, it's a
high
snap over the head, which is going to be enough. Oh my word! He absolutely nails it with a spiral out of bounds, though. A wonderful technique on the run. That should end the game.
So, James, not the result you were looking for, and in the end, it was, I wouldn't say a comfortable win, but it's a 3-score win for the Thunder. Defensively, the Cheetahs have played well. We've seen some production on offense, but they just lack that killer punch to get the ball in the end zone.
That's right. They'll be disappointed, especially hosting this Armed Forces Day. But Sussex were an excellent side today. They made very few mistakes. They committed very few penalties. So props to them.
It's a tough one to take today, but you know what? Like, the scoreboard takes care of itself. the club has hosted a wonderful day doing its work for charity. It's been amazing to see people in uniform walking around. They've done really well on defence. They've always got some stuff to work on, and I'm sure they'll go to work with the coaching staff and the players in practice this week. But the junior, the youth, the flag set up, the whole scene here, the supporters, okay, it's a loss on the score sheet, but you know, for the game, this is the type of club that we want to promote, and hats off to all involved in this game, and congratulations Sussex on the win. So we're just going to set up our interviews with our head coaches and game MVPs. We're going to say thank you to James. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely brilliant to have your insights on the team. We are just heading down to set up the post-game interviews, and I'm just going to try and see if I can see any other final scores. Okay, so let's have a look. Can we see the final score graphic? So we got that huge result in the Prem North, Wolves over Titans. Olympians run away with it in the second quarter to win 28-8 over Kent. Huge performance there. Blitz hang on for the win against the Aztecs. East Kilbride look like they're doing a great job against the Aberdeen, leading 12-0 early. We went through the results in the south, huge blowouts both ways. SFC1 Central, Thrashers, huge win, top spot. That may be even the number one spot for them now. Berkshire with a comfortable win. Sussex ending up 23-6 winners here. SFC1 East, Bury win, Hornets win. Halton with a huge result over Nottingham Raiders. We knew that one already. Morecambe Bay Storm with a fine offensive showing, 43-16 in the fourth. Bulls beat the Bombers in probably a great clash in the NFC 2 South. Humber Warhawks hold on to beat the Staffordshire Surge. For any surprising results down here. Close game in the West. SFC South 68-0 and 69-0. Wow, there are some lopsided results. And close games in the East with the Cardinals over the Sabres and the Spartans beating the Devils in a nail-biter. We are getting set up for interviews down on the pitch. We'd just like to thank everyone for tuning in today. Remember, we're doing a big sort of drive for BAFRA, bafra.info. Go to the website, sign up if you're interested. Someone will get in touch with you. The game doesn't get played without officials, and that we absolutely need more of them. Thank you to Pete Parsons and his crew today for giving us an excellent display. And thank you to all the people who turned out for the Armed Forces Day and supported the charity work that was done today. Okay, I'm going to take you for a little break now, so thanks for tuning in from me, but we're going down pitch side for interviews in the next few minutes.
So welcome back. We're joined here with game MVP number 83, Tom Kelly. Tom, that was a close game right until the halfway through the fourth quarter. All that separated these two teams in the first half was a great score by yourself, but one of the reasons you got MVP was you really started to make some plays. I mean, talk us through that second half from your perspective.
Second half, the team kind of just clicked. The first half was a great half for us. It's probably one of the best halves we played, even though the score was still quite tight. But that second half, the whole team kind of came into their own. The O started kind of sealing up those blocks, and it just gave the quarterback more time to kind of make a judgment and get that ball out where it needed to be. So yeah, it's a great half by all.
So speaking about the quarterback, we were all expecting number 1 to come out and start, and everybody was thrown aside when we had a different quarterback. And he did come in later on in the second half, and it changed the focus of your offense. You started to run the ball, and specifically with the QB. I mean, was that something the coach had talked to you before the game?
Not that I'm aware of. Last week, number 16 came in and played really well for us. So I think the coaches made a decision to kind of give him a chance. And then the first half, I think we struggled to run the ball a little bit with the running backs. Sean coming in, he was number 1. He brings an extra kind of a dynamic play as quarterback. So he can fry it, but also he's got the wheels to kind of help us out in that run game as well. So yeah, it does change the game for us.
So talking about the remainder of the season, this for you was a playoff game. You had to win this, and not only did you have to win it, but you had to have more than a 7-point differential, which you managed. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, at half time, obviously being that close, we again drew the line under it, and it's 0-0 again, and just trying to get that 7 points up. I'm pleased that we managed to do it. So yeah.
So it's not a particularly long journey home, but is it going to be celebrations on the bus on the way back?
Unfortunately, I drove today, so no celebrations till I get home.
So the remainder of your season, what are you guys looking to do? Are you just back into the film, back on the practice field? Or?
We got midweeks, so we've got to make sure we get as many people to that as we can. If we can play like we did today, especially in that second half, I think we can just keep kind of rolling, cutting up those little mistakes, and I think we should be able to make it.
So you've played the conference toppers twice, and you've lost twice to them, but you've got the head-to-head here.
Yep.
So you'll be hoping that the Cheetahs stall later on. They've still got to play Solent in their final game away at Solent, and that's a tall order. They are the conference leader, so you've still got to win out and expect help from the Cheetahs, but you've still got playoff aspirations.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, every game from here on out is a playoff game for us. We can't afford to lose. It's win or go home. So that's the mentality I think we're going to go into every single game.
So all I've got to say is congratulations. You were a real difference maker today, especially in the second half. Some great kick returns, punt returns, the number of bust tackles you made. We'd actually stopped commentating at one point, and you were still running around. I noticed you had to take a bit of a breather at one point. You were so tired. So what are the guys saying to you when you were making plays like that?
It was hard to kind of pay attention. Everyone was coming over, jumping around, but it's just kind of telling me to dig deep and get back out there, take that deep breath and get straight back on the field. So
well, congratulations on the win and congratulations on the MVP, and enjoy your journey home. Thank you very much.